show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560 The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
When you can't talk about policies because they've failed for 70 years, when you can't talk about spending because the money is gone in the wind of corruption and stolen through phony policies of entitlement, what else do? You scandalize individuals. And they wanted to use Epstein on Trump, but it turns out it would appear he was tight friends with the financiers of the tramp hornswoggler Kamala Harris and the dimwit in diapers, Reid Hoffman. You're going to be sorry you opened that Pandora's box. After News with Johnny Cruz.
Good afternoon. 45 degrees in Chicago at 4 o'clock on AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A driver recovering from serious injuries after a crash between an SUV and semi-truck this morning. This happened along westbound lanes of I-80-94 between Burr Street and Klein Avenue. The SUV apparently ran into the back of a stopped semi. No word on that driver's condition. Indiana State Police confirmed the injuries were, quote, extremely serious. There is a proposal designed to alleviate traffic congestion in downtown caused by bridge work. It'll now go before the full city council. Alderman Brian Hopkins sponsored that measure that calls for the Department of Transportation to go before the Committee on Pedestrian and Traffic Safety before any major bridge closure takes effect. He says currently there are 4 east-west bridges closed, and that's causing major backup in the city's loop. And Lake County prosecutors say little Markel Pierce faced long-term neglect and physical abuse before he died in his home in north suburban Round Lake Beach. State's attorney Eric Reinhardt says the boy was beaten and deprived of food for days. The 8-year-old's mother, Dominique, and boyfriend, Joey, are charged with murder and child endangerment. The defendants confessed to hitting Pierce and his older sister with belts and forcing them to carry weights as punishment. Servant and Ruffin are expected back in court March 3rd. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here. At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. At 4:01, time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Access One Business IT Services and Support.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending mixed, but the Dow finished higher and notched its 7th record close of the year. Investors are cautious as they await the delayed January jobs report, which will be released tomorrow morning. Tech was the worst performing sector, while consumer discretionary and utilities gained. Stocks losing steam after some Fed voters urged caution regarding interest rate cuts. And Target's new CEO, Michael Fidelki, announcing a management shakeup with job cuts at distribution centers and district offices to redirect funding for its in-store staffing. Target reaffirmed its fourth quarter sales guidance and yearly earnings forecast, and its stock fell 2%. The Dow winners, Home Depot, Travelers, and Honeywell. The Dow decliners, Amgen, JP Morgan Chase, and IBM. The Dow up 52 points. The Nasdaq lower by 136. S&P 500 down 23. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Hugh Hewitt doesn't see the president flinching.
He has made a couple of social media posts today that are pretty indicative of his intention to be very serious with the mullahs. And the Ayatollahs had better be paying attention because President Trump is not messing around.
There's another beautiful armada floating beautifully toward Iran right now.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Shaun Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
QC Kinetics helps active people stay active. People like David Boardman, police officer, competitive athlete, and gym owner who trains hard almost every day.
My body's taken a lot of abuse over the years. I've had multiple knee surgeries on both of my knees. I could barely run a mile prior to going to QC Kinetics. Doctors have all told me, hey, you are going to need knee replacements.
But QC Kinetics gave David great news.
We're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but 2 healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
And after David's regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics?
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week. I really wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for QC Kinetics.
From knee pain to Ironman training.
It's a no-brainer.
Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics to book your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's another check of the roads on the Edens. No delays going out the Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, 38 minutes stall on the exit ramp to Fullerton. If you're going out on the Eisenhower, up to 50 minutes. Post office out to 390. Stevenson, 52 minutes. DuSable Lakeshore Drive to the Veterans Memorial Tollway with the stall at Kedzie on the right shoulder. Inbound side of the Dan Ryan at 76. Watch out for debris in the road. Outbound trip, a 30-minute ride. It is heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tollways, southbound 355, a crash at Finley off to the shoulder. And eastbound Reagan slowing near the Tri-State. Southbound Tri-State north to Ogden. Other tollways look good. Traffic is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. For over 52 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 26. On Wednesday, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 40. Wednesday night will see increasing cloudiness and a low of 27. Thursday will be mainly cloudy with a high of 39. Finally, Friday will bring periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 50. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays, hail to
You know,
the
I like
chief.
to talk about how the dollar has been bastardized, how policies have been crafted to backdoor nationalize your life and turn you into an unwitting slave, how 50% of the income of decent people is taken, and none of the income of inside corporatists, none of the income of Democrat financiers, trust fund babies like Pritzker. I like to talk about the money and the failure policies from Obamacare to Social Security and how every Democrat-run area, no matter if it's as small as Dalton or if it's as big as California, is an unmitigated failure steeped in scandal. I love that stuff. I mean, we could just point to an industry, a sector of our economy. But everybody, when Trump was elected, wanted to talk about Epstein. And I looked at that 5 years ago, Squirrel. You remember? 5 years ago. I said, boy, what's really peculiar is all of the Democrats that gave him his money, like Les Wexner, all of the Democrats that own businesses, and they met him and they said, we love you. Then you look at when he was first tried, when he was first revealed as somebody who likes sex with kids, not like Bill Clinton, who likes sex with kids, with ugly girls, with married girls, with anybody but his wife, the Duchess of Chafington, which is the only thing he ever did that I understood, because that's the kind of face that inspires sex with livestock. However, he went to the White House 17 times when Bill Clinton was molesting interns. And not a one Democrat wants to talk about it.
Donald Trump's name is all over these files, all over it.
Monday was a big day for lawmakers.
That's Raskin. His father, a scum communist, scum, embroiled in politics, professor, allegedly, but an all-around low-life rat pig. So Raskin is a second-generation traitor and a congressman. And he kept saying Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's name is all over these files.
Yeah, but you left off a bunch of people, Raskin, you smarmy-looking, lemon-faced fraud that you are. You left off a bunch of people. You left off some important people, some of the biggest financiers of the hornswoggler, Kamala Harris, and the dimwit in diapers, and Barack Obama. You see, it was Barack Obama who took the White House when it was revealed that Jeffrey Epstein, a link to Democrat profits, Democrat beneficiaries, benefactors, Democrat hedge funds, Democrat Silicon Valley. It was Barack Obama. You remember Barack Squirrel, married to that big-footed woman. Big feet, big broad shoulders. Ugly. It was him that kept it real quiet for 8 years.
You know, I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reid Hoffman. He's a particularly fat, useless beanbag of a scumbag oligarch. And he made his money, ironically, in the PayPal mafia with Elon Musk. And I would love to talk about how Elon Musk and the PayPal mafia guys, how they solved currency settlements and immediately nullified any use for the International Settlement Bank, which is a huge bank that has absolutely no restrictions, that is a liaison of kinds of money and bribery and cartel washing and foreign policy theft in Ukraine and the rest of it. But that's a little bit Finance 103. But the link is Reid Hoffman and all of the scum that he brought to the table, that Reid Hoffman brought to the table. Here's another member of the PayPal mafia. His name is David Sachs.
Brad, you speak about the corruption of power centers. I think a major one has to be the New York Times. The number one person in the Epstein files from Silicon Valley, which is Reid Hoffman, mentioned 2,600 times, had a multi-year relationship.
2,600 times. Hey, Raskin. Hey, Fish Face. How many times was Donald mentioned?
Donald Trump's name is all over these files.
But you didn't say anything about that beanbag, fat slob, pedophile now that we know. Reid Hoffman. Who's Reid Hoffman's wife? Yeah, doesn't have one. Not even $3 billion could buy you a wife when you're built like this Jell-O beanbag.
Relationship with Epstein. They call each other very good friends. They did deals together. Reid stayed at the trifecta, which is not just the island, but the townhouse and the New Mexico ranch.
The New Mexico ranch, Squirrel, that's where Tom Pritzker also had sex with Giuffre, according to Giuffre, who now committed suicide, Clinton style. And that's not mentioned either. You forgot to mention Pritzker. Hey, Ratskin, you forgot Pritzker. You forgot that too.
And if you're going to write about Silicon Valley, Reid was the one who introduced Epstein to Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg.
Whoa. David, are you telling me that it was Reid Hoffman that introduced Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel, to Elon Musk, to all of the Silicon Valley guys? It was Reid Hoffman that brought Epstein to Silicon Valley? Is he also the one who introduced him to Bill Gates?
Brad, you speak about the corruption of power centers. I think a major one has to be the New York Times. The number one person in the Epstein files from Silicon Valley, which is Reid Hoffman, mentioned 2,600 times, had a multi-year relationship with Epstein. They call each other very good friends. They did deals together. Reid stayed at the trifecta, which is not just the island, but the townhouse and the New Mexico ranch. And if you're going to write about Silicon Valley, Reid was the one who introduced Epstein to Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, organized that famous dinner. How can you not mention that as the root of Epstein's involvement in Silicon Valley? And yet,
because you were bribed. You were bribed not to mention it, and you were bribed to cover it up. That's how you didn't mention it. And this fat slob had the money to bribe everybody.
And Gates. Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
And as creepy looking as a Podesta. Pick one. The skinny one or the fat slob pedophile one, his brother. Pick a Podesta.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
So much so that he bought a schizophrenic lunatic with a cat named Nipples to reenact an SVU series episode and fake a rape by Donald Trump.
We've meandered from generative AI to politics, so I have to ask you about the news today, which is that a verdict was just reached in the E. Jean Carroll lawsuit against Donald Trump. Trump was found liable for battery and disinformation, and this is a lawsuit that you helped finance. You helped finance Jean Carroll's lawsuit. Tell us a little bit about...
Get ready, Squirrel, because you're going to have to clear your ears after this. You're going to hear from the beanbag of creepiness and scum. You're going to hear from the financier of Democrats, from the office tramp, Kamala Harris, to dementia, dimwit, and diapers, Joe Biden, and even Barack Obama, married to that big-footed broad.
About why you did that, and what do you make of this verdict now?
So, it is a standard practice. It happens a lot where there's outside funding.
It's a voice, huh? Where'd you grow up, Sissy Stan? What kind of voice is that, Reid? You freak, beanbag? Like to slap you into a coma.
Lawsuits, we didn't encourage the lawsuit to happen. We only got on board after she'd already filed it and was down the road. So you're not...
So you didn't encourage. You didn't go to her with an idea and you didn't bribe her, you fat slob, to cover up the fact that you're in the Epstein files 2,600 times. Emails, you even left your passport there under Blimpo.
Trying to create something that isn't substantive, real, that a person isn't really doing. My team looked at it and thought that it was that her voice should be heard, that because she was challenging someone who...
Her voice is more masculine than his. You see, this is how it goes. He bribed E. Jean Carroll. He bribed the lawyers. Who knows about the crooked judge? And he got what he needed. He wanted to keep a lid on the fact that he is mentioned most of all, number one.
Who's so much more wealthy and powerful, it shouldn't be squashed. And that, providing that voice for, people who are otherwise would be ground down by the system or the...
Oh, so you mean you were concerned? You were concerned about the rape victim. As you were what? Paying poor underage girls to put up with you? Laying on them and sweating on them and doing God knows what, you filthy fat pig. Is that what you mean? You're the king of virtue. You're looking out for the little one. Or you just wanted to keep a lid on it, the way Elon Musk told us.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation. Like something the DOJ might actually move forward.
Oh, boy. You'd love it in prison. Only that time, you're the underage poor girl.
Or the powerful is, I think, a good thing. Obviously, especially in the case of women, and obviously, especially in the case of sexual and other, torture and attack and so
all the time posing as what? Somebody looking out for the girls? You were raping them with money.
Yet, Reed just gets a mention in one sentence of that article along with several other people. It's crazy. I mean, the New York Times clearly has a list of people they consider approved targets. They're all right-coded. People like Elon or Peter Thiel and even J. Cal, because of his association with us, I guess. And they become the targets. But the people who've donated hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democrat Party and have paid for dirty tricks against Trump, they basically are spared.
Honestly, this is just emblematic of the whole institutional rot and the distrust in the country, right? They're part of the cabal. It's part of the...
Well, until these fat pigs, these scum, end up in jumpsuits, even though that won't be very appealing to anybody. That's exactly what everybody should give this government, because they willingly covered it up for years. And I can't help but notice, nobody wants to mention Barack. Maybe it's because he had his own sex scandal with Larry Sinclair. Remember the crack smoking in the limousine? And it was Delaware, Joe Biden, that came up with an arrest warrant so that Larry Sinclair fled the country during the election year. And Barack Obama and the dimwit in diapers, when he could form a sentence as vice president, they covered it up, and they promised to cover it up forever.
I want to say this tonight, and I think this is a shame to a lot of the Hill Press Corps. I'm not going to name any of you by name, but I haven't seen many stories written yet about the fact that we put the discharge up for unanimous consent on the floor tonight. The Republicans, the Speaker, and the Republicans asked for unanimous consent to just go ahead and pass the discharge because I think it's a moot point. The Democrats objected to the unanimous consent. Nobody's written a story about that. That's stunning to me. How can you miss that? If it was about transparency, if it was about full disclosure, there's two questions you should ask every Democrat in the House and Senate. Why didn't you bring this up during the 4 years of the Biden administration when the Biden DOJ had all these records the entire time? Nobody ever said a word about it. They didn't care. Now it's the biggest thing in the world. Didn't matter at all when Joe Biden had the files. And secondly, if they're for transparency and they really want all this to be out and there's such this urgency, then why did they vote down the unanimous consent to pass the discharge petition tonight? I can't answer that question, but they should.
And everybody mentioned in it. Lutnick, Trump, and the years that they were mentioned in it, and the years that they rubbed elbows with that scumbag. Those are all the years they were giving money to Democrats, too. Jeffrey Epstein is the linchpin to not just pedophilia, like Hillary Clinton and Podesta, but to corporatism, bribery, policy money. And it was all Democrats all the time. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
Let me tell you, Chicago gets cold, very cold, and they love me in Chicago. The fake news isn't reporting it, but it's true. And you can't have your furnace fail in Chicago. That's no good.
That's when you should call Air Right Heating and Cooling.
The technicians, beautiful people. You're freezing, everybody's freezing. They show up fast, know what they're doing, and get the heat back on quickly.
Air Right Heating and Cooling offers 24/7 service throughout Chicagoland.
A broken furnace in Chicago is like living in Greenland. And believe me, I know Greenland. Very cold, lots of ice. These guys install the best furnaces. Frankly, it's not even close. Even Rosie O'Donnell would say I'm right, but she won't.
For fast, reliable heating service, trust Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and save $56 off any service.
Nobody's ever done anything like that. Unbelievable.
Visit them at air-right.com. That's AIR-RITE.com. Doing it right since 1959.
At Access One, we don't take chances with your technology, and we put $10,000 behind our assessment to prove it. Our mission is to strengthen your IT security and resilience, backed by over 30 years of experience, serving organizations across the Midwest. And here's the deal. If we can't find even one measurable way to improve your technology or security posture based on NIST or CIS security frameworks, we'll write you a check for $10,000. This free confidential risk assessment is available for businesses with 25 to 500 employees and is designed to validate your IT performance against recognized security regulations. No gimmicks, just a confident promise from a partner who knows technology. Ready to take the challenge? Visit accessoneInc.com/challenge or call 800-654-1555. Certain conditions apply. See details online.
Raj Shah, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
You know, there are a lot of clients and people coming in from the radio into our office saying, I don't want to lose any money. I need to protect the money I have saved over the last 20 or 30 years, where you have strategies where you can structure an income stream where it has an inflation protection so that as inflation, if it continues to go up, your income will go up.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
AM 560, The Answer.
He had a big old plane, the Lolita Express. Had it for no Secret Service, but the feds knew who flew.
And they all knew.
That's why he didn't kill himself.
And Reid Hoffman bribed a schizophrenic lunatic with a cat named Nipples to lie about being raped by Trump.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just, you know.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Because you're a schizophrenic.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Yeah. Where's my cat Nipples? Sick bastards.
Providing that support was something that I felt very happy to do. You know, the press kind of made a big deal out of a secret. It's like, look, actually, in fact, most philanthropy in the world and most philanthropy I do, I don't like publish list of it. I just do it. And I think the speaking truth to power and having a woman have her voice, having a chance to be heard and not squirrel.
I don't know, Squirrel. I'm not a lawyer. But that has to be all kinds of illegal. Has to be all kinds of wrong when you bribe a schizophrenic lunatic, when you bribe them to make up a claim of rape. You use your political agenda and power to remove a statute of limitations. And you get some crooked Democrat judge. Of course, that's not really that illegal. Take a look at Cook County or anywhere there's Democrat judges. They've been letting these Democrats skate for years.
Can explain the code words in his emails.
Hey, John Podesta, can you please explain why you have children rented for entertainment for your adult hot tub parties? No one has ever explained why John Podesta has literal pedophile and cannibalism paintings all over his office and his home. Tony Podesta too. And then you look into the Spirit cooking dinners, and you look into Marina Abramovic, who's...
They were crazy when this came out, the Podestas. Crazy. But it was real. It was true. And you know who did a wonderful expose when he had a television show, Squirrel? You remember? Tucker, before he lost his mind.
America, we've been told for the last year, is besieged by shadowy foreign actors seeking to undermine American interests. Now, the people making that claim, you may have noticed, are doing it for partisan reasons, but that doesn't mean they're entirely wrong. In fact, it turns out they might be more right than they know. And the real problem has very little to do with the last presidential election. Washington is indeed awash in foreign money. Other countries pay lobbyists to do their bidding here. We got a window into how all of this works in Monday's indictment of Paul Manafort. Now, according to federal investigators, Manafort took money from pro-Russia political figures in Ukraine and funneled that cash through lobbyists in D.C. One of the lobbying firms Manafort hired is called the Podesta Group. Its founders, Tony and John Podesta, are probably the single best connected Democrats in Washington, in part because they're among Bill and Hillary Clinton's oldest and closest friends. what exactly did the Podesta Group do with all the money they got from Paul Manafort, who got it from the Ukrainians? Well, according to the federal indictment, Tony Podesta, quote, lobbied multiple members of Congress and their staffs about Ukraine sanctions, the validity of Ukraine elections, and the propriety of Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych imprisoning his presidential rival, end quote. Now, did you catch the key phrase in there? It was members of Congress.
Boy, did it work. He retired, by the way, the slob Podesta, not the skinny, creepy one, the big fat slob one. But they both had the pictures of the pedophiles on their wall, the sick, disgusting artwork. And it really worked. We paid for it, but it worked.
The wife of a Ukrainian politician has been caught allegedly smuggling $28 million and 1.3 million euros in cash. Anastasia Kozitska was...
We forgot to talk about that, too. What happened to the $200 billion in the wind? The Podestas.
Ukrainians were not paying to influence a presidential campaign. They were paying to sway the Congress, the body that makes this country's laws. According to a confidential source we talked to, the Podesta Group consistently arranged meetings between American lawmakers and pro-Russian agents. Our source says Podesta set up several meetings between pro-Russian Ukrainians and then Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Menendez of New Jersey.
And yet, with all of what we now know, the scandals, Manafort, the prison, Bob Menendez prison and the gold bars, where's the mention of Podestas? Any mention of the Podestas? Of course not.
Can explain the code words in his emails.
There's code words in Hoffman's emails when he talked about children and pleasure. He liked to use words that nobody could tie to his big fat ass. He used pizza and ice cream and hot dogs. It's the perfect cover when you're built like a beanbag. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Robert Anderson, president of McLaughlin Body Company in the Quad Cities, and a customer of Signature Bank. When our 100-year-old family-owned manufacturing company was looking for a new bank, we found an excellent partner with Signature Bank. Signature Bank understands the challenges with manufacturing in today's highly competitive environment. We recently participated in the New Markets Tax Credit Program and were fortunate to have the experts at Signature Bank help us navigate the complexities of this program. With Signature Bank's support, we were able to expand not only our facility, but ultimately our business. If you're looking for a trusted banking partner for your business, look to Chicago's own Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. A genocide against Christians in Nigeria is taking place. This week, one attack there killed at least 170 people. Most of the slaughter is from the Islamist organization Boko Haram. For those that don't know, Boko Haram means Western civilization is sacrilege. Last month, the leadership of Iran mowed down at least 30,000 Iranian civilians in 2 days. But from our colleagues to the Golden Globes and Grammys, all this has been met with silence, even as they preen over their commitments to human rights elsewhere. The whole point of the notion of human rights is there should not be one rule of torture for people of one faith or ethnicity and another rule for another. We used to call these concepts universal. The selectivity we see from our elites is exactly why there are post-World War II laws and declarations on human rights and genocide. The silent are in league with those that caused us to create universal norms in the first place. Sadly, Hollywood used to understand that silence equals death. It no longer does.
You have an opportunity this Saturday, which is Valentine's Day, February 14th, to join the Chicago Wolves at Allstate Arena for their annual Faith and Fellowship Night. Along with their teddy bear toss. Attendees will get to toss bears onto the ice. It's going to be fantastic, and the Wolves promise to not toss them back at you. It's an opportunity, and to win a pair of tickets, just simply visit 560theanswer.com, keyword faith. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword faith. Well, you're here, the Chicago Wolves captain, talk about how faith has shaped his life, his hockey career, and so much more. It's a wonderful venue at Allstate Arena. Just go to 560theanswer.com, keyword faith. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I'll take all of your calls, and we'll expand the conversation after news with Johnny Cruz.
Thank you, Shaun. Good afternoon. 46 degrees in Chicago on AM 560. The Answer from the QC Kinetics newsroom. A Chicago man found guilty of running a sex trafficking operation out of his home is going to prison. Dennis Williams, sentenced to federal court, 28 years behind bars to be exact. Prosecutors say the 34-year-old trafficked 5 young victims, including a 15-year-old girl. Williams was convicted last March on 5 counts of trafficking and 2 counts of kidnapping. The first images of surveillance video from Nancy Guthrie's home have been released. They show a potential suspect at the door of Guthrie's home. Officials note the individual was armed and appeared to have tampered with a camera the morning of her disappearance. Illinois offering several free income tax preparations for qualified taxpayers who may need assistance filing their taxes. Taxpayers can learn more at the Illinois Department of Revenue website. And Chicago leaders boasting about a record-breaking summer for tourism coming up. Governor Pritzker announcing the investment on tourism has created 130,000 jobs and billions of dollars in economic impact. The organization Choose Chicago has credited conventions, sporting events, festivals, and the restaurant scene. They also mentioned the WNBA All-Star Game, Big Ten men's basketball, and the 2027 MLB All-Star Game are coming up as well. News is a service of the Will County Freedom Caucus. Celebrate America's 250th birthday on February 15th at Crystal Grand Ballroom in Lamont. Hear U.S. Senate candidate Don Tracy and gubernatorial candidates Darren Bailey, James Mendrick, and Ted Dabrowski. Get your tickets today at willcountyfreedom.com. The next news update comes your way at 5 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. On AM 560 from the Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
On the Veterans Memorial Tollway southbound at Findlay, there is an accident off to the right shoulder. A northbound side looks good, though. Eastbound Reagan traffic heavy right near the Tri-State. The Tri-State itself is getting heavy southbound, although the northbound side not too bad. Although it's busy on DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way, there are no crashes out there to report on that. Outbound Eden still looks good on the Kennedy, downtown out to O'Hare, 38 minutes. Eisenhower out, post office to 390, just under an hour. Stevenson out is an hour, DuSable Lakeshore Drive to 355. Dan Ryan out, 35 minutes, downtown out to 95th. You will not see many delays in the express lanes. It's not too bad on that. Bishop Ford inbound slowing down right near 103rd. That is due to a crash off on the shoulder, and outbound 57 slowing from the interchange down to 103rd. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 26. Expect Wednesday to be partly sunny with the high of 40. Wednesday night will see increasing cloudiness with a low of 27. Thursday will be mainly cloudy with a high of 39. On Friday, anticipate periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 50. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
Remember the day you brought your puppy home? The tiny paws, the wagging tail, the spark in their eyes, energy that wouldn't quit. As they've gotten older, you wonder where that spark went. They're slower, pickier at mealtime. Their stomach often seems off, and you find yourself cleaning out messes, worrying and thinking, is this what aging looks like? That's not old age. That's malnutrition. They're missing the probiotics, the enzymes, the omega oils, and the live vitamins and minerals your dog needs to digest and absorb food. When the gut is out of balance, everything is harder. That's where Rough Greens comes in. It's America's #1 dog supplement. You sprinkle on their food. It's packed with all the live nutrients they need. It's all natural, made in the USA. Thousands of dogs are feeling younger, more energetic, healthier than ever before. I can get you a free Jumpstart trial bag. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFF, roughgreens.com. Use the discount code MikeG. Rough Greens, we make any dog food better. Rough Greens. So great, your dog will ask for it by name.
40,000 people. That's enough to pack Wrigley Field. I'm talking about 40,000 people who realized hip and knee surgery wasn't their only option. There has to be another way. Guess what? There is. They found it at QC Kinetics, an alternative to surgery. I know this because I've met these patients. They are moving better and hurting less thanks to QC Kinetics' advanced regenerative treatments. Surgery isn't always the answer. Do your research and talk with my friends at QC Kinetics. They offer natural treatments backed by real science. They will activate your body's natural healing power. Safe, natural, non-surgical. Osteoarthritis only gets worse, so don't wait. Get started this month. 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you choose surgery, Talk with QC Kinetics and tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. Call today, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. Once more, call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling your firearms? Get top dollar from national collectors. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Stay on offense. And if you're real good at it, you won't have to play that much defense. That's what the strategy is.
A diversionary tactic. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
See, Squirrel? She's got that, she's got the implants, and she's got $500 million. What did Bill Clinton have to say?
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
I'm not convinced, Bill. I think you hit Nancy, too. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, thank you, Shaun. You know, did you hear that? I don't know if you mentioned this already, but Chief Ryder, Donald Trump had called Chief Ryder, 2006, I heard this on another station, that Epstein's a creep.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't hear the media talk about that.
Well, of course, what you heard is the scum politicians at the direction of Nancy Pelosi perfect the wrap-up smear. And I don't know if you heard what I played, and this is all that's going to be played because, listen, I got 3 TVs on. This is all that they're talking about.
Donald Trump's name is all over these files, all over it.
Monday was...
And Reid Hoffman is the number one mentioned in all of the files, and not one media outlet said his name other than Salem, AM 560. Not one. And this fat slob financed the false allegations of rape, moving the statute of limitations. Think about what political power that is to do that. You removed the statute of limitations. You made up an entire story that took place 20 years earlier from this schizophrenic with a cat named Nipples, and it's sold. And now every moron with an IQ under 60 who believes they're Democrats still will repeat the same thing, that Trump's a felon.
Right.
It is the greatest example of the misuse of political power in American history, all because Donald Trump, who was, for a very long time, a Democrat, said, I don't think I am a Democrat. I don't think I want to go with a Democrat. He wavered in the 90s because he wanted to start to fix the country that he knew had been broken for a tremendous amount of time. And here we are today. It's amazing to watch what has happened since Donald Trump hired Democrats and then realized, I think I've really wasted my money. Don't you think so?
Yeah, you're right.
Donald Trump, 1993, at a hearing when he was talking about, remember when he had the casino in Atlantic City?
Whatever reason, you have a closed mind. I don't know why. Perhaps you could tell me.
No, Mr. Trump, I have a closed mind against evidence that is not substantiated.
Oh, well.
I have a closed mind against statements that are made about other people in general.
You're going to be very embarrassed in 2 years, sir.
You go on a radio show and you say, now some drunken Indians want to come down here and open a reservation.
I didn't say that, sir. Quote it. I didn't say that. Who said that? Who said that? I'd like an apology right now because I didn't say that.
Imus opened the broadcast, so, excuse me, Mr. Imus said that.
Okay, could I please have an apology?
You can have an apology.
Thank you, sir.
See, they'll just say anything to distract from the point. And that Democrat was probably bribed by the Indians, too. It's a scam, and it's embarrassing. But they're consistent. Thank you very much. They're consistent. Stay on offense, and no one will realize the scandals originate with the Democrats. Stay on offense.
Well, I think it's hard. Look, you want to know my opinion on this? Depends what the mood the president is at night when they talk to him. If he's in an angry mood, I don't know. Don't talk to him after the Super Bowl halftime show. Wait till the next day, and then it's true.
You know what else is true? That these scum in Minnesota, these Democrats, from the governor down, tipped off the Somalian fraudsters
Developing this morning in Minnesota, a new report alleges the Walz administration interfered with a federal investigation of the widespread fraud scandal. Alpha News.
Now, in Melrose Park, you know how many guys are sitting in the cooler for interfering with a federal investigation? And back then, they would send 2 FBI guys to ask you if your cousin, who may or may not have been a loan shark on the street, if you said no, then all of a sudden you were guilty of lying to a federal officer, 1 year in prison. Who's going to go to prison in the Minnesota Democrat mafia that tipped off the Somalian fraudsters?
News reporting Minnesota officials publicly tipped off Medicaid providers by announcing the timing of site visits, fraud suspects, giving them time to prepare. At the same time, more than 250 Minnesota mayors say they have uncovered even more cases of fraud in their cities.
The whole state is a financial crime, just like Illinois, New Jersey, New York, California. Rich, Indian Head Park.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing, eh?
Wonderful.
Shaun, I wanted to ask you something. I know that you don't like sports. I know that you don't follow them. But what did you hear of the backlash about this halftime show about this Bad Bunny putting on a halftime show for all Puerto Ricans and non-speaking English people? Isn't that a slap in the face to all of the
it is.
NFL,
well, only if you watch it.
People?
Only if you watch it and you're an American. But I thought he was Rico Suave's grandson.
How many Americans watched it? Millions.
No, more watched the Turning Point USA halftime show than they did that.
Well, yeah, but they still watch the other, too.
Well, hey, Rich, I can't stop people from insulting themselves. After all, they can watch what they want to watch. They can vote Democrat. They can pretend it's a political party and not a mafia organization. They could do all kinds of things to just. It's not a slap in the face. Rico Suave, every strip joint I ever walked in from 1991 to now.
Yeah.
Soon Bad Bunny. He'll be a headliner at the Crazy Horse or whatever strip joint is around there. I gave it up years ago. Doesn't matter. How about Gangnam Style? What was that? The Korean fella. He didn't sing in English anyway. It doesn't matter to me. I blame the people who watch it. What the hell are you doing watching these freaks? None of them are from the town with their name on the jersey. Not a one of them can pick out where the stadium was before they signed the contract. Roids and insanity. I wouldn't watch it for the life of me. You got rid of Ditka, you got rid of me.
I just heard about it.
You're crazy. Don't even watch it. Thank you very much. Corey Woodlawn.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Shaun. This is the reason why our commercial corridors in Chicago are full of nothing but non-for-profits and daycare centers. It's ridiculous how we've got no businesses now, especially Roosevelt Road, Madison Avenue. They're completely gone.
Corey, why would you be in business? You actually have to go there. You got to clean the toilet. You got to mop the floor. You got to open the store. You got to put up with morons walking in when you could file yourself a daycare after school, another fraud. Never open a frickin' door. You drive around in a Bentley. How you doing? Good. I'm doing good. Just vote Democrat forever. It's a scam. It always has been. And now it's out of the closet. Now, if people want to vote for it, now there is no question anymore. You want to be a scumbag? You're a Democrat. If you don't, you're a selective Republican occasionally, and that's it. What do you think?
Yep. Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you, brother. George, Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, when Biden was president, they didn't need to wake him up. They were running the country without him.
Oh, George, when they figure out the concoction that moron was on, from the formaldehyde to the Viagra to Starbucks, I think they shot it right into his eyeball.
First, if they're seeking asylum, they can use an app on their cell phone called CBP1, O-N-E, CBP1, O-N-E. That's to spell it out, not the number one.
Don't.
To schedule an appointment at a port of entry.
You see the point of entry. You remember a point of entry, Squirrel. That was after.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
But my feeling is they should open the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying.
Not great anywhere there's Democrat areas. Those are called bad areas. 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The vaccines have failed. While the virus continues to mutate and bypass every shot they give you, the establishment is left with no answers. You're being left defenseless against a changing enemy. But the cavalry has arrived. When the system fails, nature and science unite to rescue your immune system. It's time to stop chasing mutations and start blocking them. I'm Dr. Michael Huber, introducing Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. We've combined 23 high-potency natural ingredients into one synergistic strike. We are hitting the virus from every angle. Don't be a victim of ineffective science. Get the 23-ingredient shield that actually works. Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail.
Order your bottle of Virago online today. Visit myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30% at checkout. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
You know, there's nothing wrong with flying first class. Of course, everybody's got that cheapskate uncle that always says the back of the plane lands at the same time as the front of the plane. I guess there's some sort of cheapskate logic in that. However, the door is in the front of the plane. So why not get to first class? After all, they have dishes, silverware, glasses, warm towels. And if you want to sit at first class, or you aspire to, all you need is a little planning from Alpha Wealth Group. Their goal is to help maximize your income in retirement. Since you can't take it with you, there's no point in squandering your time. After all, the warm towels make the ride fun. Call Tom Fortino in Alpha Wealth Group for their complimentary roadmap to retirement, so you can take a first-class flight and not worry about the cost. Call 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711. 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Well, that was a surprise. The HVAC tech just said our furnace apparently has a cracked heat exchanger, and it'll cost thousands.
Oh, you're kidding. He barely looked at it. Now he's pushing a huge repair? What should we do?
I don't really trust them. We need a second opinion. My brother Mark recommended Air Right Heating and Cooling. I looked them up, and they seem legit. Great Google reviews. I'm sure they'd give us an honest assessment. He liked that they checked their carbon monoxide readings so he knows the air they're breathing is safe. And I guess it also gave a sense of how much life was left in their furnace.
I'd love that peace of mind. Plus, why spend a fortune on something we might not even need?
Get a second opinion from Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and get $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling right now at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all. Because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep. Now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
AM 560. The
Answer. So we got FBI releasing new video. Cartel Carlos in a mask. That's a great video. Would you wait 10 days to release that? Brilliant. They said, look at me when I talk to you, Cash. And then you got Tim Walz and the evidence, again, that the so-called government of Minnesota tipped off the fraudsters. And instead, we're going to pretend that Trump is on the Epstein files versus Reid Hoffman, beanbag, scumbag, pedophile.
Just last week, we had another third-party independent investigative auditing team
audit the state of Minnesota, and they came up with 14 high-risk programs that could estimate up to another $1 billion in fraud alone.
So what did they do? They started another program to be frauded.
We are now 1 month into the new paid leave law in Minnesota, and we're starting to get a picture of how many people have applied. Tim Blott's joining us now. And so, Tim, the numbers look a little bit high, but sounds like this is about what the state was expecting.
Absolutely. The numbers so far are right in line with what's happened in other states that have enacted paid leave programs. So
that means you say that you have you got a hammer toe that's going to get surgery, and you want to go on paid leave, and the state of Minnesota pays your bills. How do you think that's going to end up? Hopefully better than the after-school programs in little Somalia.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It would be my hope that Mr. Holman goes out before Friday and announces that this thing is done.
Yeah, it's my hope you're indicted before Friday. Patrick, Florida.
Hey, Shaun, good afternoon. Super excited to be a part and on your show. I came across your social media. Love your delivery. I have the chin strapped on tight.
You got to tighten it. Otherwise, what happens? You know why I say that, Patrick? Do you know why I say that?
Yeah. Because if you don't have it strapped, you're going to get your bell rung.
Well, and when I was a kid, I used to get beat up by this guy named Lenny LePagli. He was a phenomenal boxer in the day, and he used to tell me, make sure it's tight, because I don't want you to use an excuse that I knocked it in front of your eyes and you couldn't see. I want to kick your ass with your eyes open. And he did on a pretty much weekly basis. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, my concern is obviously I see everything that's coming across social media. It's a hailstorm of madness that's occurring. I don't think we need to beat that donkey to a dead horse. My question is how the information that's being shared, is it along the lines of seeing it through a soda straw? Meaning, like we'll see like Nick Shirley doing all this field reporting. We see all these great things that civilians are doing, and on both sides. But along with this weird, bizarro psyop, how accurate are those numbers that are coming across with these immigrants and the damage that they're occurring in communities?
So one of the things when we talk about this, right, that I think I try to set the table when I can, there are 8 pathways to come to this country legally if you actually want to come to the country and immigrate. If you want to immigrate, meaning you fold into the society, there are 8 different pathways that you can do that. And within those pathways, there are tens, if not hundreds, of different options to take advantage of those 8 pathways. But the problem with the pathways for the person who wants to continue to be a criminal is that you must disclose who you are and who you were back in your original country. So the reason that they're trying to veil these illegal aliens is because they want the anonymity so that the scams can continue. Because who do you prosecute? Who do you prosecute if it's an illegal alien and you don't even know what the name is? If he put it on the CBP app 1, spell it out, not the number, as Joe Biden stumbled through his introduction of it. It's the perfect system to use the entitlement safety net and achieve what Cloward and Piven wanted to do in the 60s, to overwhelm it in order to capture it. And you backdoor nationalize the decent people, the Patricks, the squirrels, the honey bunnies, the people who are listening, driving to their second job. And you keep them as slaves because they quietly are forced to give you 50% of their income if they make it through a paycheck. And we talk about this whole thing at the Supreme Court, right? We're going to see if the tariffs are constitutional. Somebody tell me, is payroll withholding tax constitutional? That was supposed to be a temporary measure after World War II. And somehow we just take it. And nobody questions it or challenges it. And Congress, these 435 whores we call congressmen, they just continue to make the emergency a law in perpetuity. Think about how more intelligent people would be if they had to pay taxes like business people and they had to sit their ass down and write a check with commas in it versus hoping they get a tax return. Do you know how many people don't understand what a tax return is? That's when the government overtook what they were supposed to. They kept your fracking money and they didn't invest it, you didn't invest it, you couldn't loan it to your kids, and you're thanking them in a tax return. That's the mind of a slave. That's the mind of a slave. So that's what I'm trying to break, right? And that's what we do.
Oh,
we try to break it.
You're spot on. You're spot on. It's incredibly frustrating. Beyond frustrating, the fact that not only what it is you just mentioned as far as the fraudulent and saturating our courts and our systems, the issue with health care, all the handouts, it's saturated the whole system. And that
think about
is the focus in the strategy.
Think about all your life, all my life, people who are 70, 80 years old. They've been forced into a duopoly of corruption, where political whores in suits with girlfriends in a place called Washington give you lip service, say whatever they have to say. And once they get elected, it's high school with multimillionaire inside traders. It's sickening. Thank you very much, Patrick. I went long. I appreciate you listening, brother. Jerry, I'm sorry I didn't get to you. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
To commemorate President's Day, Hasseless Mattress is offering Washington Monument-sized savings on select Beautyrest, plus a $100 instant cash discount, a $100 MasterCard's cash card, a free adjustable base, free delivery and setup, and 24-month free financing with approved credit. I won't beat around the bush. You can't afford to miss out. Enjoy presidential savings on select Beautyrest through February 22nd at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
Ever wonder if what you see in nature is almost too perfect to be random? Jeff Tischler's new book, Nature's Believe It or Not, available on Etsy and as an ebook on Amazon, pulls back the curtain on some of the most stunning and obscure details hidden in the world around us. This is the sequel to his 5-star rated High Tech versus Highest Tech. And it goes even deeper. From the tiniest insect to the vast cosmos, Jeff reveals nature's secrets in a way that's beautifully illustrated, concisely written, and impossible to put down. You'll laugh out loud at Jeff's conversational style. But fair warning, by the end, you might find yourself in tears. Because this isn't just a book about nature, it's about faith. About seeing the extraordinary design in creation and asking yourself, what do I really believe? Jeff spent years in missions around the world, and every penny from this book goes right back to that work. Nature's Believe It or Not, available now on Etsy and Amazon. Whether you're 8 or 80, this book might just change how you see everything.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The poverty wheel, created by government, the war on poverty. All it creates is opportunity for our money to be stolen. What about American homeless? As just Illinois spends $5 billion on illegal aliens, putting them in houses, giving them food, giving them walk-around money. My next guest has been fighting this for years. Michelle Stieb is the founder of Free Up Foundation and author of the book Answers Behind the Red Door. We're going to have her on to discuss the poverty wheel after news with Johnny Cruz.
Thanks, Sean. Good afternoon. 45 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. John Cruz here in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Police detectives investigating after a rideshare driver and his passenger became sick after making contact with a suspicious package in Chicago's Logan Square neighborhood. The fire department's hazmat team responded and the package was recovered. No word on what was in the package that made the pair ill. The victim's taken to Humboldt Park Health Hospital in fair condition. President Trump threatening to block the opening of a new U.S.-Canada border crossing unless Canada meets his demands. In a Truth Social post, he said the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Detroit and Windsor will not open until the U.S. is, quote, fully compensated for everything we've given to Canada. And the project is funded by Canada, with Michigan set to repay costs through future toll revenue. The city releasing a report of people with disabilities in the Chicago area. Mayor Johnson's office says this is the first comprehensive study examining the experiences and needs of Chicagoans with disabilities. Among key findings is that 1 in 4 Chicago adults lives with a disability. And a former White Sox prospect taking legal action against the team, Isaiah Carranza, claims he was forced into taking a COVID vaccine in 2021 that led to allergic reactions that ended his career. He has not played since 2022. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz right now to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. I'm John Cruz. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Access One Business IT Services and Support.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
It was a mixed finish for the major averages, but the Dow did post its 7th record close of the year. Investors are cautious as they await the delayed January jobs report, which will be released on Wednesday morning. The Dow up 52 points, the Nasdaq lower by 136, S&P 500 down 23. And shoppers unexpectedly paused their spending at the end of the year, closing out the holiday shopping season and year on a lackluster note. With retail sales coming in flat in December, economists were expecting a modest increase. And Robinhood Markets' fourth quarter earnings beat Wall Street estimates but missed on revenue due to lower cryptocurrency-related revenue. The company's earnings report lands after a tough trading session for wealth management and brokerage stocks, which got hammered on concerns about threats posed by artificial intelligence. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
On Thursday, February 26th, at Benedictine University in Lisle, AM 560 is hosting a Republican debate. Come hear the candidates for governor and U.S. Senate make their cases for why they should win your vote in the primary election. Be a part of the process to defeat J.B. Pritzker and replace Dick Durbin. Tickets are free, but registration is required. Get your tickets today at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Attention investors. This affects you. Silver prices are exploding, with silver exceeding $100 a troy ounce for the first time. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get our free gold and silver investment guide. Plus, you'll also receive a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call now. Here's why it matters. Silver is a high liquidity, tangible, and affordable precious metal investment that serves as an industrial commodity and a store of value. It often outperforms gold during economic upturns. If you have an IRA or 401k, you can act now. Roll over a portion into a tax-advantaged gold and silver IRA backed by physical metals you actually own. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 and find out how you can get a tax and penalty-free rollover for a portion of your retirement funds for 2026. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No delays on the Edens either way on the Kennedy downtown to O'Hare. That's a 40-minute trip. Inbound Eisenhower, crash reported at Church and one at Racine on the shoulder. 50 minutes going in. It's just under an hour out to 390. Stevenson to get to 355, that's an hour and 10. Outbound Dan Ryan, 35 minutes. It is heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State North, not bad. Southbound heavy though, Lawrence to Ogden. Jane Addams Reagan looked good. Southbound 355 sluggish. Northbound side, there was a stall on the ramp to Southwest Highway. Traffic is a service of the Will County Freedom Caucus. Celebrate America's 250th birthday on February 15th at Crystal Grand Ballroom in Lamont. Hear U.S. Senate candidate Don Tracy and gubernatorial candidates Darren Bailey, James Mendrick, and Ted Dabrowski. Get your tickets today at willcountyfreedom.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 26. On Wednesday, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 40. Wednesday night will see increasing cloudiness and a low of 27. Thursday will be mainly cloudy with a high of 39. Finally, Friday will bring periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 50. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all us. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
The devil is in the mission statement of entitlements. The devil is in the government's agenda of a war on poverty that created nothing but more poverty. It is an industrial complex of fraud. And the minute I heard this Democrat political whore say this, I thought, I can't wait till the next time I talk to my next guest.
So we just finished delivering groceries to folks who are too afraid to leave their homes because of this ICE occupation in our community. An amazing amount of people have put together boxes of produce and meat, as well as toilet paper and diapers for those that need it, dry goods.
Illinois spent $5 billion on illegal aliens. New York spent $7 billion. California spent $2 billion last week on just health care, let alone the billions that have gone missing during Newsom's tenure. So where's all the money when 771,480 Americans are homeless? My next guest has worked on this tirelessly. She is the founder of Free Up Foundation and author of Answers Behind the Red Door. Michelle Steeb, how are you?
I'm great, Shaun, and I'm really glad to be back and look forward to this discussion as well.
Well, so do I, because I've been looking into it. And, you know, it was you that provoked. This is, about the fourth time you and I have talked about this industrial complex of fraud, where California, it's, $21 billion that's spent in the name of homeless, and it's just in the wind?
$24 billion.
24.
That's only during a 5-year period, I might add. Yes, the state auditor literally issued a report. This is a couple of years back. It's now getting a lot of attention because of what's going on in Minnesota and subsequently the investigation in California. But the state auditor said literally there is no accountability for this $24 billion. They have no idea where it went. They have no idea the outcomes. And there's been no change at the state level in terms of creating that accountability and reporting back on outcomes. Crazy.
Well, and the plausible deniability is, well, we're government. We can't do anything right. But when you break down the states, it does not include the $50 billion the federal government spends annually. $50,000 million. That's $50 billion. $50,000 million they spent. And you know what's annoying about this? I'm in the real estate business, have been for years. Do you know what the median home is in America? When you factor in all of it, all expensive, whether it's New York or Florida, to poor in the middle of Nebraska. Do you know what the median home price is in America?
140.
No, that was a good guess. I'm factoring all the rich neighborhoods too. I want to do the rich, so we don't give the
you
the
said
rich
everyone,
trust fund.
so okay.
So it's, if I round up, it's between 300,000 and 400,000. So let's say it's 400,000, right? So this way, these people who are in New York and the rest of it, you could find places for 400,000 in New York. So if you take $50 billion and you divide it by 400,000, you could buy homes for 125,000 homeless people a year. So in 7 years, you're way even. It would take you 6 years, 5.5 if you're smart and frugal. And if you get me to do it, you do it in 3. And you could buy a home for every homeless American. But that's never the goal. The solution of the problem is never the goal in politics. It's the illusion of a solution. Isn't that the goal?
Yeah, and in fact, and you and I have talked about this, but just as a refresher for your listeners, when this promise of housing for every homeless individual in America was revealed back in 2013, they literally promised this would end homelessness in a decade. And we're now at the highest point ever in our nation's history. It's up over almost 35%, despite a 300% increase in spending. And in California, the only state to follow the federal government in adopting this housing-only approach, homelessness is actually up 40%, with another 300% increase approximately in state spending. So it's just been a massive failure. And what, you and I are going to talk about today is the fact that the president has jumped in on this within 6 months of being elected, with all the issues he has to, unravel and deal with, given the past administration. He jumped in the first 6 months and said, we've got to change this. Our policy, our approach has failed. And the advocates, the quote-unquote homelessness industrial complex, they self-proclaim they're advocates for the homeless. They are blocking his reforms using the courts. And it's just a shame because they're blocking the real help the homeless need to not just, maintain in their current state, but to actually get back on a path to recovery and restoration and to realizing their full potential. It's really a travesty.
Well, and what else it wants to stifle, and when I say it, I mean the Leviathan, the Fourth Reich, the government. What it needs to stifle is the fact that here comes a guy who in 6 months says, let's solve the problem, and this is how you're going to do it. And the reason is, Michelle, is because when you are somebody who is not in government and you have a problem outside of government, you solve the problem. End of story. There are 340 million people that could run the government better than these people who are in government, because the 340 million, for the most part, live in their own life of solving problems every single day. This is a simple problem to solve. The country is 6% developed. If you wanted to solve it with those, whatever happened to the tiny homes? Remember that was all the rage a few years ago? A tiny home you could buy for $25,000. The country is 6% developed. All of America is 6% developed. You could pick a place in Wyoming and fence it, build all the time. Done. So send the 771,000 homeless people right there. We'll take care of it from that point. But that's not where the money is made. That's not where the bread is buttered. It's in this phony virtue of Gavin Newsom, of J.B. Pritzker, of Pika Mandamni, who wants to take away the property rights of established landlords. It's really upsetting. And I'm wondering, it's not even an argument. It's either you're going to go to the right answer or you're going to continue to steal our money. Isn't that how it should be posed from this point forward?
Well, it is. But what the advocates, again, the homeless industrial complex, hide behind is that their approach, the approach that's massively failed, that's, caused an increase of 35% in homelessness despite their promise to end it. What they are saying is, they haven't had enough time. They haven't had enough money. And they're saying that this policy is evidence-based. And what our side, if you will, the side, I don't even call it I don't call it a political side. I call it a rational side. What our side has failed to do is to produce. So the evidence is what I just said, right? The HUD numbers, the Department of Housing and Urban Development numbers, show this 35% increase despite the promise to end homelessness in a decade, despite the increase in funding. But what we failed to do is produce evidence in a, report to show that this is not an evidence-based, approach. It's in fact failed, and we need to do that to refute what they use. Which these reports show is that this is evidence-based. It's ridiculous, but this is the only thing in academia. This is the only thing they're going to listen to, and we need to really get behind producing these kinds of reports to demonstrate why a recovery and restoration-focused approach is needed, and we haven't done that yet, and we need to do it.
I would love to know the percentage or the number of illegal aliens that are homeless. And I say this to you because I go back to Chicago often. And I am amazed at how many of the illegal aliens that are beggars, this is the one anomaly that's amazing, the quality of clothing and cleanliness. It's almost a mass improvement of beggars on every street corner with the babies, the illegal aliens that are there. They got the signs and the whole 9 yards, all with brand new costumes on. It's fantastic to watch. But I have a sneaky suspicion that it is a fraction of the percentage of Americans that are homeless in illegal aliens, because they have the attention of all of these sanctuary cities. It's a tremendous amount of money on top of the $50 billion the federal government uses for homelessness. Sanctuary cities are diverting billions and billions of dollars of these bankrupt cities like Chicago and New York and California and the states that are diverting a tremendous amount of attention to illegal aliens, and they have a much higher quality of attention of government assistance. And now when you see Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker, who openly promote health care included, it's almost as if American homeless people should absolutely denounce their citizenship and claim themselves to be illegal aliens at this point, shouldn't they?
Well, in fact, to your point, right? We saw a lot of protests in Chicago and in New York from the homeless who, as their cities, as Chicago and New York City emerged as sanctuary cities, and they were having to battle, undocumented citizens, illegal immigrants for housing that used to be, available to them. They started really protesting, but those protests have died down, right? The progressive left does not, I will say, Scott Turner, our secretary of HUD, has, and his team has identified a lot of and gotten rid of this free housing for those people who are not here as citizens. And we're going to start to see a free up of housing availability. But I want to be clear, housing is not the solution to homelessness. No. It's a piece of the solution, but it is not the solution. And that's what these reforms that President Trump has proposed are advocating.
Well, one of the conversations that most people avoid, but you and I don't, is the tremendous amount of people who choose this lifestyle because of a mental illness, because of a drug addiction. It is astronomical, the percentage of homeless people in this country that are also drug addicts. And you have this zombie land where the families can't take it anymore. What are you supposed to do? And you look at these places like Philadelphia, where you have entire neighborhoods where people are bent over, they're twisted on some sort of new horse tranquilizer and the other. So you've got the self-induced issue. It is not an issue that happens to necessary people or people necessarily that are decent people that want to take care of themselves. You can struggle through. You might not do well, but you can struggle through. Most of the people listening to this station grew up the way I did, where parents struggled month to month, but they made it. They worked different jobs as shampoo girls, they stock shop, whatever the case is. But we're not dealing with that issue. We're dealing with people who are affected by drug addiction, by booze addiction, by character problems, and by mental illness. That's a tremendous amount. Do we know the percentage of the 771,000? It's got to be astronomical.
Yeah, so we do know government data up until the Trump administration has said it's somewhere between 25 and 35% that struggle with mental illness and or addiction. But the reality is, from my 13 years on the front lines and from other data that has since emerged, some non-government data, that it's close to 75 to 80% of the homeless population are struggling with one or both of those issues and other issues as well, right? Domestic violence in the female population, criminal histories that make it really difficult to get jobs and get housing, lack of high school diploma or GED. There's a myriad of issues, but mental illness and drug addiction are largely driving this.
And when you look at the problem, this is something that I am a news junkie, right? I have to be. It's the job. And when you look at the problem and you look at the way in which drug dealers have been enticed to succeed in these very same areas, and you look at the areas that used to be middle class, blue collar, and the way in which governments, in conjunction with laws that protect predators and drug dealers, Chicago is a fantastic example. You don't hear a lot about, right? Every housewife in the suburbs knows where to go buy the dope, and it's been that way for half a century. So it couldn't be this bad if the government wasn't facilitating the acorn of the problem itself, which is how easy it is to be a drug dealer and to be a drug addict. If you're a drug dealer or a drug addict, you want to live in America. It's very easy to be both, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely it is. And this is the problem in many cities like San Francisco, where literally you can come in, it doesn't matter where you're from, into the city. They've facilitated the application for benefits. You can actually begin earning $1,000. It's not even earning, right? It's receiving $1,000 a month in benefits within a month. It's craziness. And San Francisco is just one example of this. So we have got to change this culture. We've got to, reform addiction policy, which the president also issued an executive order on last week, to say the way we've been dealing with addiction is not right. We need to prioritize mental health. We need to prioritize mandatory treatment for those struggling with addiction, because it's a growing crisis in America. And we've got to reverse all that we're doing. And the president continues to be blocked in the courts, as he is in other issue areas as well. We have got to,
I'm laughing because, as you say this, it was obvious to me in 2020 that the election was stolen. I was working the night of election night, and they shut down the count. You got to remember, Michelle, I'm from Chicago. Chicago's been bragging since 1960 how they stole the presidential election. So when I saw them shut it down, I said, "This is it, over with, game over. They're stealing it." And the first thing the Democrat agenda was, let's put in these federal judges, 235 they jammed through the system, 165 in the other courts, just jam them through. And they're the Chicago Cook County judges, where whatever their overlord, the Democrat politician, says, they do. So when you're telling me the courts are fighting the agenda to actually solve the problem, to actually help the people, none of it could have happened if we would have held fast in 2020. Because that's, to me, you look at this guy spent $9 trillion on the debt and blew every dollar that came through the door. It's amazing how we all just took it. And now we have the answers. So I was thinking of a slogan that we could really get the morons who continue to believe that the Democrats are a political party versus a mafia. Why don't we start an abort the drug dealer campaign? What do you think? I think it'll confuse them and we can achieve the goal. What do you think?
Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold, but I think it's brilliant. And I think it is worth trying for sure.
Well, and one thing before I let you go, because I've talked to you about it. Answers behind the red door. Enlighten me. Red door. What does it stand for?
So when I took over St. John's in 2006, we were a 30-day emergency shelter. And I don't have a lot of time to finish the story, but basically I had a woman come in with her two sons rather, and a couple days later, a woman come in with her daughter. They both, it turns out, were part of the same family. They had lived at St. John's 18 years earlier with their mom. And what I realized is we can't be a 30-day emergency shelter and really help these women change the trajectory of their lives. So we changed our name. We changed our complete format to be a program that really helped these women become the primary providers for their families and never enter homelessness again. The red door became our symbol because it has a biblical symbolism, right? It's the place where you can, go to escape. It had a symbolism in slavery and in feng shui of being, good luck, of being the place to go for protection. And that became our symbol. And that's where that became our mission, to really give these women a safe haven to transform their lives. And they did that. And it was a wonderful 13 years to watch that happen.
I love that. And, I have a great affection for Judge Janine. Most people don't realize it's because of her that they could start to prosecute domestic abusers. So when people like this, when you and her do that, that is just a beautiful thing. So I say this without ever seeing you. You are beautiful inside. Thank you for all that you do. And I love the idea. All we have to do is go to freeupfoundation.com to keep an eye on everything you do. And thank you for writing the book, Answers Behind the Red Door. Thank you for making time for me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I've always enjoyed our conversations. Look forward to the next one.
Me too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker, and I'm here with
Amy Jacobson
from Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker and Amy Jacobson here on AM 560 The Answer. Now, I'm a financial advisor, and Amy's the co-host for our program. Amy, recently President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. A lot of folks aren't realizing, Amy, that if they have highly appreciated assets, they can potentially tax defer the capital gains tax, place that money into a qualified opportunity fund, and then 10 years from now, get back out of that investment and pay no capital gains tax on either investment. Have you heard of such a thing, Amy?
I did not know about that. That seemed to be hidden in the bill.
It's only 900 some pages.
Yeah,
we have to pass it to see what's in it.
An easy beach read, yes.
Yes. And now there's another thing in the bill as well, Amy. Section 1202. Amy, did you read Section 1202?
I did not, but thank you for the homework assignment.
If you're a small business owner, many small business owners can now sell their small business and potentially pay no federal capital gains taxes on that capital gain of selling their business.
Wow.
If you'd like to get a free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Text the keyword book, that's BOOK, to 224-496-3999. Text the keyword book to 224-496-3999. In addition to the free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? You'll also get our entire Retirement Decoded toolkit. We'll also give you the opportunity to talk to us 15 minutes for free over the telephone at another time so we can go through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act with you, show you how to potentially sell your highly appreciated assets and pay no federal capital gains tax, how qualified opportunity funds work, and also if you're a small business owner, how to potentially pay no capital gains on the sale of your small business through Section 1202, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Text book to 224-496-3999 or call that very same number, 224-496-3999.
Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm does not offer tax advice.
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust. Makes this process simple.
Yeah, I set up a will for my kids. Should make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman and Associates in Elk Grove Village?
That's right. NALawGroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
When we get back, I think I have a voicemail from the boss I might play, and I will take your calls. 312-642-5600.
Hi there, Shaun. Good afternoon. 44 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A driver in serious condition after a crash involving an SUV and a semi on the Borman Expressway. It happened this morning in the westbound lanes of I-80-94 between Burr Street and Klein Avenue in Gary. Authorities say it appeared the SUV hit the semi from behind. All lanes were reopened after about 2 hours. House Speaker Mike Johnson backing a full-year funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. He says Republican leaders want the Senate to pass a long-term funding measure rather than another short or long-term continuing resolution. Democrats in the White House remain deadlocked over proposed changes to immigration enforcement, with DHS funding set to expire Friday. Chicago police looking for a suspect after a violent robbery took place on the CTA Red Line train. This happened February 1st near Addison and Sheffield. Authorities say the suspect hit the victim in the face, stole their property, then stomped on them. Police released photos yesterday of the alleged attacker. Anyone with information about this attack urged to contact CPD. News is a service of the Chicago Wolves. Chicago Wolves hockey returns to Allstate Arena on Saturday, February 14th with the Wolves' annual Faith and Fellowship Night and Teddy Bear Toss. Join the Chicago Wolves with some fun hockey when they play the Colorado Eagles, and stay for the post-game Faith and Fellowship Q&A with Wolves star Josias Levine. Next news update comes your way at 6 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, it is Jill Urchak.
Southbound 355 at Findlay, an accident on the right shoulder causing a bit of a tie-up, and then northbound there's a stall on the off-ramp to Southwest Highway. Tri-State heavy south, northbound, not bad. The Jane Addams and the Reagan both in good shape. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either direction. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 38 minutes. It's open on the outbound Edens. Eisenhower up to an hour and 10. Post Office to 390. Stevenson out hour and 5. And the outbound side of the Dan Ryan, 35 minutes from downtown out to 95th Street. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Westbound 80 slowing Briggs to Larkin with construction. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 26. Expect Wednesday to be partly sunny with the high of 40. Wednesday night will see increasing cloudiness with a low of 27. Thursday will be mainly cloudy with a high of 39. On Friday, anticipate periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 50. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then they help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
There's no championship league for small business owners. But if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation. One-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at Lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
560 The Answer.
Lenovo.
560 The Answer.com. 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 560 The
Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories Incorporated, SEL, has openings for its test engineer. The test engineer will engage in test development processes, design, develop, and maintain test strategies for new and existing SEL products, and review and approve test plans, station designs, and validation documentation. Positions are based at SEL's Lake Zurich field office. To apply, please email your resume to careers@selinc.com. That's careers@selinc.com. Discover the opportunities available at this world-class manufacturing company. Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories. It's not just a job, it's a future.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Got a large collection? We'll make it fit in your wallet. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Nice, Paul. Now you're sure, Squirrel, you did the caller ID? You're sure? This is from the big guy himself. You're certain? Just left on the voicemail? And it's talking about me?
Fired. I beg your pardon? Fired. But I...
Must have been the Hillary Clinton thing or the Bigfoot Michelle. Something really irritated him. Rick Displains.
Hey, Squirrel Hands is spot on with the bumper music. I'm telling you, I got that Hall & Oates album.
Come on. Did you see they're fighting now? Hall & Oates, you broke up? Come on,
I
you can't
know.
break up.
I
was so mad when Lee Majors broke up with Farrah Fawcett, but this is right underneath it. Go ahead.
I just wanted to call because I heard you make a point earlier about working two jobs to make ends meet. My father used to work, God bless him, he's dead, long time now. Two full-time jobs. He worked at night, all night for the phone company. Then he worked all day
Oh, my God. Yeah.
for the park district, just so I could have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a pickle for a carton of milk, a little small carton of milk when I went to school. And
I don't remember my mother just working one job. And it's funny, all of the ways in which people get no credit for that. And in America today, they're the bad people. The people who just want to replace that 50% that the government steals. Because, that's what your father was doing. He was just replacing the 50% he lost at the one job as the government extorted his money without his consent.
He had to do something to keep us alive.
Thank God we're old, Rick. I wouldn't want to be an entitled, spoiled brat today. And when I hear him talk about this ridiculousness, and you hear these communists talk, it's just nauseating. And you see them; they're the pictures of gluttony. There's a Chicago girl named Gooseman. Did you see this clip in Chicago today about the CTU? Oh my word! I could smell her through the screen. You're making me hungry, honey. They had a face like a pizza, big and round.
Illinois requires schools to meet critical obligations like special education services, transportation for students with disabilities, and other mandated categoricals. These are not optional. They are legal and moral requirements. And if we
tell me what moral is. Moral is not being 400 pounds and then making me pay for your health care there, Tubby. Jerry, Western Burbs.
Shaun, how are we doing this evening, my man?
Good. I gotta stay in the sun, otherwise I get really aggravated, but good.
So, my point I wanted to talk with you on, the illegals, the migrants, whatever you want to call them.
No, let's call them what they are. Illegals. They chose to be. Right. You could come here 8 ways legally. Go ahead.
They didn't come here for anything other than money. They're economic migrants. You're not going to leave your home and come to the States, which is, a foreign man in a foreign land, unless you're going to get money.
I don't know if you caught yesterday's show, brother, but I'm going to tell you what. I think it's even more nefarious. This is an invasion, a foreign invasion. This is about weaponizing immigration. Well, benefactors like Reid Hoffman and Singman and all the rest of it. I know who's paying for it.
Yeah, but Dow Chemical, Cargill, Chobani Yogurt. They're out in Idaho Falls. They shoved a bunch of Syrians up the local community's tukas so they could make yogurt out there. Go to every food processing plant, Smithfield Foods. It's all illegals.
Well,
They go through a temp agency and they get sanctioned from Uncle Sam because the politicians they're not getting paid by the CCP. They're getting paid by Smithfield Foods.
And you know what's funny? It's the mandated unionization of the American worker that started the whole fracking thing. Go back and watch a Cesar Chavez, not Hugo, Cesar Chavez cut from the 70s. Go back and watch it. You'd be fascinated.
Wanted them out.
You would be
He
fascinated.
wanted them out.
And he was a Mexican-American, proud Mexican-American. And they won't even play his tapes anymore. He was so far ahead of his time, he knew exactly what was going to happen. And that was when unions were not communist fronts back then. Fascinating stuff, Jerry. Thank you for reminding me of that. And then you've got this.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
The whole time, Delaware, one of the most corrupt areas outside of Chirac. And then there's Louis C.K. We had somebody ask us, I played this cut earlier, who is this? And Louis C.K., and I don't know which one of those initials stands for Jagoff, but Louis C.K.
But my feeling is they should open the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying. In America, it shouldn't be. It's a weird thing to sequester a certain group of people and try to keep upping their lifespan and their lifestyle.
Sequester. Interesting. The scum that he is. You ever rebuild his career after he forced innocent women to watch him pleasure himself? Peter in Barrington.
Yeah, Shaun, to kind of piggyback off the last caller on who's paying for these illegals, I think, I may not be 100% right, but I think my $80 a month union dues, part of those might be contributing to their phones and their free rent and everything.
Well, the answer is that we are paying for it in theory. But when you look at, this is the other thing, Peter, that, we have to continue to beat the drum. The idea that the dimwit in diapers, Joe Biden, added $9 trillion to the debt, it is such an unbelievable, incomprehensible number that you just glaze right past it. Just everybody glaze right past it. It took the country 236 years. 2 world wars, other wars, all the economic problems, 236 years to acquire a debt of $9 trillion, just under. Joe Biden, the moron dimwit, did it in 4.
Term.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I got friends of mine who are economic guys, right? And they send me a thing because they're not happy that we're still going to spend the same money, even though we're cutting it down. They don't understand. It's a house of cards. If you shut it off, the whole thing is over overnight. So they got to reprivatize the economy, and they send me things about how much money the government is now borrowing every week. How much of it has policies that were carved in when Barack Obama first took the White House? That's the real crux of the problem. Yeah. Barack Obama, all scandals, all financial frauds, all tyranny traces back to the guy married to Bigfoot. Shoot.
Yeah, and Shaun, so also another thing, I saw today that there were some schools in McHenry County and Lake County. They're having these walkout protests. Do you remember during that Parkland school shooting, they had those walkouts?
Yeah. I
remember.
I was back home last week. I saw the walkout. It was unbelievable. I saw the walkout, and the kids had signs that I know the kids didn't write. And if they did, it's even more of an abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, these people, they don't even know what ICE is. When I was a freshman in high school, I didn't even know what ICE meant. I didn't know what it stood for. How do these kids magically know everything what's going on? These schools are indoctrination camps.
How many Americans
cannot convince me otherwise?
Of course it is. That's why you have to if you care about your kids, you have to figure out how to keep them away from those indoctrination camps. But how many Americans know that there are 8 legal pathways to be a citizen? There are 36 million true migrants that migrated legally, true immigrants that came here legally. Yeah. They disclosed who they were. They learned what the principles are. They swore an allegiance to the Constitution and the rest of it. 36 million legal immigrants. And they are somehow ignored as the virtue goes to the ones who want the anonymity because they're on the payroll of the cartels like Cartel Carlos, who kidnapped that poor old lady in Phoenix. Thank you very much, Peter. All right, we got an update here. This might be a health service. We got to start doing a segment like this, Squirrel. This is John from Lake Como, Wisconsin.
Hey, Shaun, the guy says Smithfield Farms. Smithfield Farms, don't buy that crap. Come up here to southern Wisconsin. Look for local stuff. You'll get some great pork products. Don't be bought. Spend a little more money and get good.
Yeah, I get it down here at Seed the Table.
It's American dream, right?
I want to eat something that died that morning. Thank you very much, John. I don't want stuff laying around and fondled by illegal aliens. Mark, Monroe, Wisconsin.
Hey, Shaun, you mentioned a boxing name from the past. I used to work with a relative of his.
Lenny
You're
LaPaglia?
referring to, Lenny LaPaglia.
Yeah, I used to have
And,
a guy that came to my cigar store that was related to Collins, who he fought. Collins was a kid from the other side of Bridgeport, I think he was from, and hit him after the bell. And then, but that's a tragic story. Talented, handsome kid, vicious, tough. And that's a story about taking a wrong turn at a corner, that Lenny. It's a tragic story. Beautiful kid, made a couple bad decisions.
Yeah, like I said, I remember way back in the day, he had that major bout coming up, and I really didn't know what became of him afterwards. So
yeah,
that's why
sad.
I'm calling you.
But I'll tell you what, for a while, he was a gem of a guy, really. Thank you very much, Mark. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
If you or someone you love are getting high quotes for dental implants, visit almostfreeteeth.com today. With a medical PPO insurance plan, it's possible to save 90% off on average to be able to smile again. Check if you qualify now at almostfreeteeth.com.
Listen carefully. Silver prices have experienced a historic surge, breaking above the $100 per ounce threshold for the first time, and industry experts predict silver could climb even higher. It's not too late for you to benefit from the surge in silver. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get our free gold and silver investment guide. Plus, you'll also receive a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Debt is rising, currencies are under pressure, and investors are looking for real assets, not paper promises. That's why so many Americans are turning to physical gold and silver with Advantage Gold. Historically, when silver starts moving, it can move fast and aggressively. This isn't about guessing tops or bottoms. It's about understanding risk and positioning before momentum accelerates. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000 and find out how you can get a tax and penalty-free rollover for a portion of your retirement funds for 2026. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, hoping you'll join me on the unforgettable Gulf of America cruise happening in November of 2026. Imagine this: turquoise waters, white sand beaches, incredible food, insightful conversations about the future of America. Scott Jennings and I will be your hosts. We'll dive into the issues shaping America as we cruise through some of the most stunning destinations while honoring the 250th anniversary of our nation. Book your cabin today. Text the word cruise to 94878. Text cruise to 94878 or visit mikeonline.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Gavin Newsom, the idea that this scoundrel trust fund from the John Paul Getty oil fortune, in-law to Nancy, I can't feel my face, post-op Pelosi, scoundrel, millions of dollars in real estate.
Give me a break. It's 1930s all over again. How is this not? Every night you should be running reports on this. The music in the recruitment ads, HH in their ads, all the propaganda coming from Kristi Noem's DHS, how they're recruiting folks. Look at the way this...
Somebody tell that bimbo that Nazis were socialists. Denise, Illinois.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in the day, they'd round up the kids. Parents didn't know, and they had to march through the street in the Jewish neighborhood.
That's
and
right.
They had to remind everybody who was going to be in charge of the country and the world, the Nazi youth movement. That's how they took over. They started with the little kids. Parents had no choice.
It was
The
funny
kids
you
were
say
marching
that.
through the street.
To watch it, my wife and I were driving down the street, and I look at this, and there they were on the corner of Cumberland and Grand Avenue, and the school's right across the street. And it was that day; it was freezing outside, and they're there, and the teachers, all of them, Borcos, standing there, clearly with the signs that they either told them to write or wrote themselves. It was something to see, Denise. It was something to see. This is the American National Socialist Movement Worker Party, and that's exactly what they are. Thank you very much for reminding everybody. David Lansing.
Hey, Sean, almost every show you have, and I listen quite a bit.
Good.
Immigration. This subject of immigration won't go away, so I just like to give my 3 points. Number one, for every ICE agent that removes a mask, we get the name and address of a paid protester, so maybe that'll help. Mike Johnson can tell the Democrats that. And number two, the reason there's illegal immigration and the Democrats are against ICE is because middle income and upper income people need slave labor. And number three, this reason that the ICE is being attacked is because Democrats need more voters. So let's call a spade and a diamond, and just tell them. Go on the offense and tell them.
Do yourself a favor. And I had him on yesterday. Peter Schweitzer's book, The Invisible Coup. It shows you exactly what this is. It's not what they tell you it is. It never is. This is about people in that La Raza movement that believe that this country stole Mexico's land instead of being gracious to Mexico after we kicked their ass in ours, which is why the Marines still have the red stripe down their pants. We should have never gave it back. Maybe then it wouldn't be a cartel front. How many Mexican presidents, like Obrador, like the rest of them, all the way to Vicente Fox, trace right back, not the Bush family, although he does, Vicente Fox, good call, Squirrel, trace right back to assets of cartels? How many? And the answer is all of them. It's a front. The fifth largest employer of Mexico is the fracking cartels. The money that goes back is a tremendous part of their GDP. You want to solve the problem? You know what? Send the Marines back there. Now it's ours. How about that? Forget Greenland. I'll take Mexico for 200, Alex. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I give up. Where are they?
Who?
Employees.
What?
You say Hassleus Mattress Showrooms don't have any employees. Come on, bud. I know better.
I assure you.
Are they cooped up in a secret back room?
Huh?
Or waiting outside in the bushes?
Sir.
I know. They're hiding under the beds, aren't they?
Listen, Hassleus Mattress Showrooms really are employee-free. Give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Nope, don't believe it.
You won't believe our prices either. Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more for way less.
Right.
Others sell a Queen Aspen Cove A hybrid for $1,820, but our everyday low Hassleus price is just $994. Free next day delivery too.
Next you'll say I can get a free adjustable base with my purchase through Monday.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Oh, come on!
Save on Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest, plus get a free adjustable base. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? The Dragon's Prophecy is powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie. Now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Does your company exhibit at trade shows? Are your show costs rising? Not getting the return you expected? At Old Salt Displays, we turn those challenges into opportunities. As a veteran-owned company in the Midwest, we know what it takes to stand out. Whether you need a pop-up banner or a complete custom environment, we've got the expertise to make your brand shine. We use American-made, modular, reusable displays to keep costs low and ensure faster fulfillment and on-time delivery. Big impact, small footprint. That's the Old Salt way. We do it all: design, creation, shipping, storage, and show services. From concept to convention floor, we handle everything so you can focus on what you do best: connecting with customers. Make your next show a success by calling Old Salt Displays at 920-226-8958. Again, that's 920-226-8958, or visit oldsaltdisplays.com. Your booth, your brand, done right.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I believe the early voting started. My next guest is somebody who I have had the pleasure, I won't admit it to him, of knowing for about 16 years. Some refer to him as the round mound of refi. It's because I gave him that nickname. But one thing's for certain, David Hochberg not only knows about mortgages and how to save you money and raise your credit, he knows how important it is to understand when government steals your money, when it misappropriates tax dollars, it destroys the real estate market. That's what we're going to talk about with my friend David Hochberg, the round mound of refi. And that is if he's done with his Manny's corned beef sandwich, which I'm hoping he is. That'll all happen after Foxweiser.
A break in the case. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A new clue in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie in the form of a video doorbell footage.
FBI Director Kash Patel announcing that just this morning, with the help of what he called partners, they were able to access, quote, residual data located in back-end systems to find video of someone at Nancy Guthrie's front door in the early hours of Sunday, February 1st, when the 84-year-old disappeared. The person was wearing gloves and a ski mask and carrying what appears to be a gun in a holster and a backpack. The video and freeze-frame pictures obviously provide the FBI with a treasure trove of evidence, but they don't offer clues to Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts right now.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Tucson. Local officers and the FBI knocking on doors in the neighborhood where Nancy Guthrie's daughter Annie lives, and police have returned to Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. Negotiations continue in Congress to meet a Friday deadline to fund the Department of Homeland Security, with Senate Majority Leader John Thune saying there have been good faith efforts by Democrats and the White House that would also reform immigration enforcement. President Trump sticking by his Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick amid questions about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Lutnick is facing questions from Congress about his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein after files released by the Justice Department revealed the two met after Epstein's 2008 conviction.
Probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period.
Lutnick told a Senate panel he traveled to Epstein's private island in 2012 with his family for lunch during a sailing vacation.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Drug company Moderna says the FDA is refusing to consider its application for a new flu vaccine made with mRNA technology. America's listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the inbound Edens, there's an accident right after 2E blocking 3 of the left lanes. The outbound side looks good. Kennedy, 38 minutes. Downtown to O'Hare. Eisenhower in an hour with an accident at Biesterfield in the left lane. Outbound side is an hour and 5. Stevenson outbound 50 to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. Dan Ryan, 38 minutes going out. On to Saba Lakeshore Drive, that is still heavy either way. Tri-State busy south-north looks good. But the Jane Addams, the Reagan, and 355 are all clear. 80 westbound stop and go Richards to Center. No reported troubles along 8094. This report is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 26. On Wednesday, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 40. Wednesday night will see increasing cloudiness and a low of 27. Thursday will be mainly cloudy with a high of 39. Finally, Friday will bring periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 50. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
Eric live in Northbrook, mortgage professional, host of Home Film. Eric live in Northbrook, mortgage professional, host of Home Film Chicago and WGN Radio. First, I'd like to thank Commissioners Britton, for appearing on my show, and thank Commissioner Lowry for breaking bread with me a couple of weeks back. Both spoke highly of you, President, and huge supporters. First, I'd like to apologize for saying last time I was here, $1 billion. I got caught up with all of the school superintendents, and I was adding all the numbers. It was only 125 that they had to tap into the reserves, so I apologize for overstating that number. Also, I want to apologize for a comment I made on my show on December 3rd that was brought to my attention by a member of your staff. When I welcomed Brendan Riley on my show, I said, quote, "We are here with Alderman Brendan Riley, who is running to unseat my good friend Tony Preckwinkle, who I can't stand," which was a misstatement, which I apologize. I met you once.
There is no sorry. You were right the first time. When you care about money and you care about the future of your state, your county, your city, you get passionate. It's really the pleasure of introducing my next guest, who I've known for 16 years, and it's often that he leads a sentence with, "It was nice to break bread with you." He inspired the Round Mound to refi. He's somebody that every waiter in the city and the state never asks, "Do you want dessert?" They just bring the cart. David Hochberg, how are you, sexy?
I'm great. I thought you were going to say something just to bring one piece of bread, you bring the loaf. But thank you for not going there.
Bread's not even an appetizer. You think pizza's an appetizer. But anyway, you're on to something here. And now this is the election, and I've got to tell you something. I watch your stuff, as I love it, right? You know the problems. Even though you lipstick it, and you've been lipsticking it for 20 years. I've been telling you what these rat Democrats would do to us. And they're not so bad. I can get along with them. And this weekend, I was in the neighborhood, and a couple of friends of mine said, let's go to my buddy's place called Masa. It's a fantastic place on North Avenue. Great place, right? So we go there, and I see the short in the pants pale Brandon Riley walk right in. He was going to shoot one of those commercials where they pretend that they care about business. I could tell because he had a Brooks Brothers suit on. Might have had a little Jim Beam spilled on the lapel, but I could tell. So the guy made the mistake. I don't know why, as chief of staff. He must have heard us talking about Tony Preckwinkle because, I keep calling her ass face, and it gets a lot of attention. And he came over right to me. Well, I told him exactly what I thought of him, and they canceled the shoot. However, the reason I did that was not to just humiliate another moron, drunk Democrat. It's because they've destroyed the quality of life, the value of assets. Do you know, when you were coming on, I was getting the median home price in America. Do you know what it is? The median.
$425.
410. Nice. 410.
Okay, well.
Do you know what the median is in Illinois? 270.
I was going to say 370. Okay, a little high.
270. So, but my point is, there was a time when Chicago and Illinois specifically was well above the national median. This is the cost of having politicians that are, if I'm kind, just stupid. If I can think, crooked. This is the cost of corruption, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the cost of people moving out of state in truckloads because of high taxes, no jobs, limited wage growth, and lack of development. I mean, it's common sense.
Well, when you go to these meetings, now you've been going for at least a year hardcore to point out not just the misappropriation of funds, but the ineptitude in the actual policies and the destruction to the quality of life for the Illinois and the Cook County resident.
Yeah.
And you do these speeches. I'm curious to know, we know what happens when you do them. What happens after? I'm curious.
Well, I just leave. It's 3 minutes at the beginning with the public comment section. And I just put my slip in to talk, and I just go up there. I've got a framework of what I want to say, and I just say what I want to say, grab my coat, and leave.
So when you had Brandon Riley come in and he was a guest on your show?
Yeah, twice.
What's the difference? And I'm dead serious about this. What is the difference?
Okay. Well, the difference is Brandon Riley shows up. I've been trying to get Tony Preckwinkle and Fritz Kagi on my show for close to 2 years to talk about all of the nonsense that goes on in Cook County, why we can't get tax bills out on time, why we're not developing the brown fields on the southeast side of Chicago. There were brown fields on the southeast side of Chicago when I left the scrap iron and metal industry in August of 2000. They're the same undeveloped areas that can be developed to put a commercial real estate piece of property in there, Shaun. You know what happens? It generates jobs, generates construction jobs, it generates jobs for the factory. It creates a taxable entity to generate real estate tax. So the people that are within the area of that factory or warehouse or whatever commercial entity it is has less of a burden on their real estate taxes because there's a commercial entity that's generating real estate taxes to take the burden off their shoulders.
Well, yes, in theory, right? And that's the tagline, right? The commercial takes the burden. But, I've always had a problem with it because, the commercial takes the burden by paying, 5 times, 6 times taxes. Why should a commercial building pay for the schools? So I think the problem is in the way in which they calculate the taxes in the first place. That you've now got...
I respectfully disagree because there are fields that are just empty that have done nothing. That's what I'm talking about, brownfields. That used to be a factory at one time. They haven't done an effing thing for 20 years.
Yeah, I agree. And, this is the other thing, right? Because who represents the commercial landlord, the commercial owner who's, I've got friends of mine. The taxes are 6 employees. I'm not kidding you. 6 employees for a year are the property taxes. You know this in these mediocre areas. Some of these 25,000 square foot warehouses are paying $125,000 a year. So there's an argument to be made for that. And to me, the argument needs to be on the focus of, what have you done with the money? You've stolen the money. You've misappropriated the money. The contracts you exposed, the software company, that is a ridiculous scandal that really only you bring up.
Yeah, well, and I bring it up in public, and that's why I invited the Fritz Kagi and the president to come on my show. They did this in 21, 22, 23, 24. I'm sorry, they got it out on time last year in 24 and last year in 25. So for the last 5 years, they haven't been able to get a real estate tax bill out on time. And at the last meeting, not the one that you're seeing now, but the one prior I think it was in January, we had 9 school superintendents there. They had to tap into their reserves for $125 million to operate. And then before he went on this time, the mayor from Homewood came on. I think it was Homewood came on and talked about how they're running out of money and they're down like 77 G's in their reserve account, and they need money from the county. I mean, this is so effed up. It's not even, if you ran your business like this, Shaun, you would be out of business 5 years ago.
And that's really what they are. They're functioning bankruptcies. They're already out of business, and they pretend to not be. And you see the collateral damages. You have municipalities that are being vacated and seized, and they're not having the meetings. What's the one right next to the Harvey and Dalton and all the rest of it? In the Dalton scandal.
Blue Island. They're getting killed.
The Dalton scandal, Henry, what would happen? She's gone, the new guy's in. Is it 1,000 times better?
You're talking about, what's her name? The
Tiffany Henry, the people's
lady.
mayor. Tiffany Henry.
Yeah, the people's mayor,
Yeah, but now you got Fritz Kagi.
Buying all that stuff, on Amazon. Yeah, people's mayor. And
Fritz Kagi, I mean, I know he's a member of Chubby Checkers with you, but what the hell does he do? It's ridiculous what he's done. And the idea he's even running again, I have to tell you, who's supporting these idiots? I mean it. Are you meeting people that I got to get Fritz Kagi in?
I have no idea. I've invited Fritz Kagi came on Lisa Dent's show, and I listened to it. And I wanted to reach through the speaker and choke this guy. so she had me on the next day. And I played every single sound clip of what he said, and I'm like, that's factually inaccurate. I wanted to be polite and not say it's a lie, but that's factually inaccurate, and here's why. And I explained why. Because I do this for a living. You do this for a living. You dance on this dance floor. I dance on the dance floor. I know when they're full of crap. And I called them out, and when I'm like, hey, why don't you come on my show to talk about it with somebody that actually knows what's going on? No disrespect to the host, but she doesn't know real estate like you and I know real estate.
No.
Okay, he's just feeding her BS, and she's like, okay, and she doesn't know to push back and where to push back because it's not her area of expertise. I don't blame the host. I blame the people that are elected officials that are blowing smoke up the host's rear end and think it's okay. So I come on, and I'm like, okay, what he said, and here's what he said yesterday, and they dropped the clip of what he said, and I'm just like, okay, that's a bunch of crap, and here's why. And I invited him after I blasted him to come on and talk about it. Radio silent. And what are you afraid of?
Well, they're afraid of you and your knowledge, right? And you're going to bring up the scandal that nobody wants to talk about with Tyler Technologies. It's a ridiculous scandal. It's a tremendous amount of money, misappropriated, uncounted for, and inefficient if you're best. And that's Tyler Technology and the IT scandal. What was the original project? $75 million. It's now $250 million.
No. It was 25. It was close to $30 million for software to be delivered. The contract was signed in 2015. Software to be delivered in 2018. Okay, and they gave him an extra, I don't know, $20 million a couple of years ago. I mean, why are you giving them extra money? It's a $20 billion company, publicly traded company. It's a $400 stock. Why don't you stand on the table in the county boardroom and just blast them and watch their stock go down? I guarantee you, if you go on there and watch that $20 billion company go to $15 billion because you're absolutely tearing them a new ass, they'll get to Chicago and Cook County and fix the problem. We do nothing.
Well, I'm curious to know how you see this, because, to me, Democrat running against Democrat means it doesn't matter. The policies don't matter. And Toni Preckwinkle has an infrastructure, loyal, and she's delivered to that infrastructure at the cost of the people. So we have scandal after scandal, and then you have Pappas who comes out and says, okay, well, listen, if you can't make it because we didn't get it to you and you didn't put the money away the way normal people pay bills, you didn't know what it was even going to be in these massive increases. So now what we're going to do is and this to me is the cherry on the insult sundae. If you're late, we're going to charge you VIG. We're going to charge you interest.
Yeah.
This whole Cook County is a mafia. And when you see that the court system just said the way you've been doing the tax auction sales is illegal. Listen to me. I stumbled on this 20 years ago when I was thinking about leaving the Merc. A buddy of mine did it. And he said, why don't you do it? And you see how that operated with those shiftless rats, that the properties never were offered to the general public. They were stolen in the back doors to the associates and the rest of it. Now those properties, they're back up for auction because they didn't make the money they wanted. You destroyed the actual system that allowed people who were losing money to at least partner up and get their taxes paid. There was no other system. So they stole the property. Now they can't sell those properties. How bad is the tax auction system? And what does it mean when the court says it's unconstitutional? What about the people for 50 years you've been stealing their property?
I'll give you two other things. I made a comment at the end of my 3-minute diatribe there where I said, hey, for everybody on the southeast quadrant, the third that just got taxed, instead of going out and burning your tax bill and having prayer vigils with your pastor, why don't you get your rear ends into your Cook County committee person and ask them, what are they doing to develop real estate in the area so it takes the burden off you? Praying is great and burning your tax bill is great, but it's not going to lower your real estate tax. And then I ended with this. I said, Commissioner Gaynor brought me into the Cook County Land Bank. Okay, you want a bunch of knuckleheads. About 4 years ago, okay, we went into the land bank. It was me and my representative on my show from BMO. The C-suite in BMO heard about it and sent their monkeys in there and their lackeys in there, okay? So I'm sitting there for an hour. I got 3 black developers in there that have developed homes in those areas, and they're gorgeous. I mean, they're beautiful, just absolutely fantastic work. I saw pictures of the finished product. Up north, they'd be selling for $750 to $900 Gs. Down there, they're selling for $275. Okay, they're buying the property for $1 and for $1.50 and a can of soup, right? But they're in there and they're like, hey, all the incentives are going towards the buyers of these properties. We're the builders. We need some help financing these jobs. So I'm sitting there after an hour. Okay, I go, hey, I got an idea here. I go, why don't you sell these 3 black business, a black business lady and 2 black business, I think, or 4, 3 black guys and 1 black lady, all within the community. And I said, you've got qualified builders here. You've worked with them. They've shown that they do good jobs. Why don't you give them on credit an entire block of houses, right? Like maybe 7, 8 houses. And why don't you turn the utilities off so they could bring in a backhoe to level all 7, 8 houses, and they could do it by scale, right? Frame up one and then work your way down. Then have the carpenters skip jumping to each house and get some economy of scale. The head of the land bank looked at me as if I called her mother a horrible name, and she's like, "We don't do that here." Like I said, I'm an idiot, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, we have to. Our goal here is to redevelop the home in its current state. You got a piece of crap broken down house with holes in it. Knock the freaking thing down and redevelop it. It's so wrong.
This is what you and I have been talking about for years when I told you about, why I didn't think there was a future, right? And how I thought the trajectory was going to go. And the reality is, when the answer is government, there is no government. There's just people.
There is no answer.
Well, there is no government. There is just people. And when the government has proven itself over 100 years to not only be just inept, but to be corrupt, the last thing you got to do is turn to these governments. So when you see the elections, what are you calling? Are you calling that they're going to change from one dirty pair of underpants to another? Or are you calling that it's going to go Detroit? Because, what you're talking about is Detroit. Rip it down, sell the blocks for $1, and let's move on.
But look at Detroit. It's coming back. Right?
No, I agree.
Who came into those areas? The guy that owns Quicken, whatever the hell his name is, I forgot his name. He spent $1 billion in the pizza guy in Detroit.
Yeah,
they gave him blocks for $1. They knocked it down. They put up stadiums and they redeveloped warehouses. And guess what? Downtown Detroit, it's not like I've been down there in the past 30 years, but from what everybody tells me, downtown Detroit, it's back. You got a casino. You've got hotels, you got ballparks. We're doing so many things wrong here. Here, you know what you got with Tony Preckwinkle? Okay, and what I said was, when I met her downstairs at Hackney's in 2010, I said that the onion rings were delicious because I want to put a shout out to the Hackney's onion rings because they are delicious. I said that Tony Preckwinkle in 2010, and don't even start with me because they're delicious.
No, I just can't believe she didn't kick your ass. You'd have a problem on your hands. You'd need me there if she starts throwing hands, but go ahead.
Well, no. She would have barged down my studio door, the Tony Preckwinkle in 2010, and demanded to come on my show to defend herself. This version of Tony Preckwinkle, she's done. She's in her 70s. She doesn't give a crap anymore. She's done. So, you know what? Move out. And Fritz Kagi, this guy couldn't spell cat if you gave him the 750 to Val and you spotted him the C and the T. This guy is so worthless, it's not even funny. Okay, so we need to listen. You're not going to.
You know what? Why don't you listen to me? I wanted to have you on. Number one, I missed you, but number two, I wanted to have you on because it's time to run as a non-Democrat. You do something, man. Because you see these scoundrels, they don't know their ass from their elbow. And they're running. Like you said, right? The principles are the principles. If you're not going to have the solution, then you're going to steal in the illusion of a solution. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, well, I'm here at Village Hall at Northbrook, and I already announced that in 2029, if nobody wants to step up, I'm running for village president here because I'm tired of this crap that goes on in this town, in this village. Or the stuff that doesn't happen here, right? Just inactivity.
I'll call you. Now, I'm going to help you. Don't go on that Ozempic drip like Pritzker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call you in the morning, put your face on that floor, and you do 50 or you don't get up. Follow me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right.
Sir.
Thank you very much. I love what you're doing. I really do. And really, let's give a shout out for the company because people, I want you to go to your company, but I also want to keep an eye on you. If you're going to do this and run, I want to help you because you got the brains to do it.
I appreciate it. We switched mortgage companies, by the way. We left Lower. We went to a company called Atlantic Coast Mortgage. It's still 56david.com and 855-563-2843. Same engine, same car, same driver, me, different engine to propel us and our borrowers into better rates and better products into the future. So, we'd love
Listen,
to help your borrowers.
I heard some exciting news. There's going to be some more private money that are going to come back into the business that have been out for a while. I think this is going to be exciting. I think this is going to be exciting as rates get down and we start to specialize lending to credibility in individuals. I think we can get it back. So I'm very optimistic, kid, and I love that you made time. Now cheer up, will you? A little espresso instead of the tiramisu, will you? You're depressing me today.
All right, goodbye. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Talk to you.
Love you too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted on AM 560. the answer.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
Let me tell you, Chicago gets cold, very cold, and they love me in Chicago. The fake news isn't reporting it, but it's true. And you can't have your furnace fail in Chicago. That's no good.
That's when you should call Air Right Heating and Cooling.
The technicians, beautiful people. You're freezing, everybody's freezing. They show up fast, know what they're doing, and get the heat back on quickly.
Air Right Heating and Cooling offers 24/7 service throughout Chicagoland.
A broken furnace in Chicago is like living in Greenland. And believe me, I know Greenland. Very cold, lots of ice. These guys install the best furnaces. Frankly, it's not even close. Even Rosie O'Donnell would say I'm right, but she won't.
For fast, reliable heating service, trust Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and save $56 off any service.
Nobody's ever done anything like that. Unbelievable.
Visit them at air-right.com. That's AIR-RITE.com. Doing it right since 1959.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
It's true. Millions of Americans agree with President Trump, and they're switching to Newsmax. They're watching great shows with Greta, Carl Higbie, Rob Schmidt, Finnerty, and more. If you're tired of big media, start watching Newsmax. It's free to start. Go to NewsmaxPlus.com for immediate access. Get all of President Trump's most important events live. Imagine watching Mike Huckabee's Israel Report, our Melania documentary, Clint Eastwood, Charlie Kirk specials, even the movie Jesus of Nazareth by Franco Zeffirelli. Once you start Newsmax Plus, you won't stop. So try it for free. Go to NewsmaxPlus.com, then download the app. It's easy. So make the switch to Newsmax Plus today.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-654-1555 or visit AccessOneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's AccessOneInc.com. Tech made personal locally.
Fastest show on radio, Squirrel. We only have a half hour left. Rick, you're definitely going to be first. Hammond High School teacher, please stay on the line. John in Peatone wants to double down. By the time we figure out who it is, I'm probably going to owe him a Buick, or he'll owe me one. Robert in Bloomingdale, you'll follow John. 312-642-5600. If you care to be on the list, that'll be after news with Johnny Cruz.
All right, thank you so much, Shaun. Good afternoon. 43 degrees in Chicago from the QC Kinetics newsroom. Big Tech is on the hook. Testimony continuing today in a pair of lawsuits that allege Meta and YouTube of getting teens addicted to their platforms. Both are denying the accusations. The plaintiff argues the companies are causing mental health issues on a larger scale. The Northern California woman who is suing has already settled out of court with Snap and TikTok. Things getting testy between Democrats and Homeland Security officials in a House hearing today. Homeland Security Committee Chairman Andrew Garbarino of New York quickly intervening with the gavel and asking for decorum. Governor Pritzker says the state making progress with the Chicago Bears despite efforts from Northwest Indiana officials trying to get a stadium site. He mentioned yesterday that there's been a lot of discussion. He's pleased with the progress that's being made. On the other hand, there is a bill moving through the Indiana State House that could open the door to a publicly financed stadium for the Bears in Gary. Lake County prosecutors say 8-year-old Markel Pierce faced long-term neglect and physical abuse before he died in his north suburban Round Lake Beach home. The boy's mother, Dominique Servant, and her boyfriend, Joy Ruffin, charged with murder and child endangerment causing death. The defendants confessed to hitting Pierce and his older sister with belts. Servant and Ruffin expected back in court on March the 3rd. This report sponsored by Wendy's new Biggie Deals. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie Deals at $4, $6, and $8. The new Biggie Deals are bigger and biggier than ever. For a pretty biggie deal, gotta be Wendy's. U.S. price participation may vary. The next news update comes your way at 7 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. I'm John Cruz. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, it's Jill Urchak.
On the inbound Edens, traffic is solid. Dempster to 2E, 50 minutes going in. That is jammed up all due to an earlier accident, but the outbound side looks good. Kennedy, 35 minutes. Downtown to O'Hare on the Eisenhower 50. Post Office to 390. Stevenson, 40 minutes out to 355 from downtown as well. 28 minutes outbound Ryan. Express lanes tight. Pershing to Marquette. To Sabo Lakeshore Drive is heavy either way. Tri-State busy south. Lawrence to 31st. North looks good. The Jane Addams, Reagan, and 355 all clear. A bit tight westbound 80 Richards to Center. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 26. Expect Wednesday to be partly sunny with the high of 40. Wednesday night will see increasing cloudiness with a low of 27. Thursday will be mainly cloudy with a high of 39. On Friday, anticipate periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 50. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File your taxes for free with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. Just file on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Valid for those who didn't file with TurboTax last year.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Shaun Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-899-5600. That's 708-899-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
Hey, it's Scott Jennings inviting you to join me on the unforgettable Gulf of America cruise happening this November 2026. Imagine it. Turquoise waters, white sand, beaches, incredible food, and insightful conversations about the future of our great country. Mike Gallagher and I will dive into the issues shaping America as we cruise through some of the most stunning destinations while honoring the 250th anniversary of our nation. information. Text Cruise to 94878 or visit scottjenningsshow.com and click the Cruise banner to sign up today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Why wait for spring to sell your house? You don't need to let the cold put your plans on ice. While everyone else is waiting for the snow to melt, Jeff Buys Your House is buying houses every single week, no matter how cold it gets. With Jeff Buys Your House, there's no hassle, no repairs, no cleaning, and no listing. We buy your house as is, and we can close on a timeline that works best for you, even if that means fast. Since 2007, homeowners all across Chicagoland have turned to us as their trusted source. Our veteran-owned team has earned hundreds of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the BBB. That's proof you're working with a team you can depend on. We've been buying houses for nearly 2 decades and have made the home selling process easy and stress-free for hundreds of your neighbors. Don't let winter slow you down. If you've been thinking about selling, now is the perfect time. Call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com and get your offer today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling a collection or just the high-end antiques? Get top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
That's the 80s, Squirrel. I said send over songs from 1975 to Hochberg. We got to cheer him up. You know what it is? He's up north. He's in the North Shore. Listening to a lot of manic depressants, drowning their sorrows in Merlot. Rick, LaPorte, Indiana.
Yeah, Shaun. They had a walkout. They had an ice walkout at Hammond Central the other day, and one of the teachers decided he didn't want to participate in it. So the principal came in and told him if he didn't participate in it, he was going on administrative leave. So they put him on administrative leave.
Listen, you tell him you call 380 pounds of free legal advice, Calcagno and Associates. You sue the dung out of that son of a gun. In other words, if they're forcing you to participate in a protest, that is not illegal. They cannot force you to participate in a protest. That's the definition of tyranny. Sue everybody. Get my lawyer there. He's the one with the stretch marks around his belly button. You tell him to call. You tell him to call Big Joe, all right? Don't call him Fat Joe. He gets mad. You can call him 380 pounds of free legal advice, all right?
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. Turning jeans into leotards with a law degree. John Piatone.
Well, we're at it again, Shaun. You know what? I'm listening to the radio again today, and what do I hear? What do I see? They're talking about people placing flower pots in front of the cameras. So this is the family that knows where everything is at.
Are you going to double down?
We got no, we don't have to double down.
All right.
I'll collect my $10.
All right, it's 20. We got a parlay. If that's a relative who's a crackhead, it's 20. Even though you bet 10. Now, if it's Cartel Charlie, and I'm right, or also known as Cartel Carlos, now we want to do 2 for 1 with a cartel.
Sure.
All right, fair enough. Sure. You can tell by the neck tattoo or the face tattoo that they misspell MS-13. All right? All right.
Oh, God.
This is going to be fun.
Screaming at the radio. Says, you idiots.
Yeah, listen, you learn one thing when you grow up in the 70s and 80s. You bet on tragedy if you want to turn a happy smile on a bad thing, okay? We bet on the tragedy. I say it's Cartel Carlos.
Authorities on both sides of the border are ramping up security after a troubling change in cartel tactics. With fewer migrants crossing into the U.S., Mexican cartels are now targeting everyday civilians, and that includes Americans, for kidnapping and ransom. In one high-profile incident, cartel members kidnapped 4 Americans in northern Mexico, killing 2 before releasing the others. News Nation's Jorge Ventura.
I think it's 2 weeks prior. 2 graduates from Arizona State, girls, same thing. What are you going to do? See, Trump has shut down a lot of the cartel money that they relied on. After all, they have to bribe Mexican politicians with it. Roberto, Bloomingdale.
Shaun, how you doing tonight?
Splendid.
First thing, I want to have a comment and then a question for you. First of all, you were playing President Biden at the time, blabbering on. First of all, could you imagine if Harris won that election? Our country would be, picture this, where would our country be right now? Thank the good Lord for President Trump. Now I got a question for you.
All right.
Now, the question is that Miss Guthries disappeared in Arizona. And all the evidence, they got a picture of the guy at the door taking the alarm off the door, all right? Do you think that Miss Guthries still alive, and you think they think they can find her alive? What do you think? It looks iffy.
I'll tell you what, you missed a couple of days, and I don't know if the cartel has senior care, but it's a problem. She doesn't have her medicine, and it's an absolute tragedy. But let me tell you something. That clip I played you of the cartels, that's from 7 months ago. The cartels have been kidnapping Americans for years, and it's been ignored. So when you said, can you imagine what happened if Kamala Harris won? Yeah, they would have covered it up the way it was always covered up. And in most cases, even worse than covered up. The American politicians were in on it.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Don't come. I believe he then called us Crimea.
First, if they're seeking asylum, they can use an app on their cell phone called CBP1, O-N-E, CBP1, O-N-E. That's to spell it out, not the number one.
Don't get confused. And whatever you do, don't ever, ever say happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
81 million never happened. Never happened. They stole the election, and the scourge all pretended to be patriots.
But 2 people have been killed so far. Is that right? A nurse named Preddy and a mom named Good. 2 people have been killed so far.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lyons, will you apologize to the family of Renee Good for being called a domestic terrorist by the president and his leadership?
No, sir.
Why not?
She's a domestic terrorist. And you were stooping a Chinese spy named Fang Fang who looked like a rake. Yuck.
A bombshell new report says a suspected Chinese spy targeted California politicians. One of her biggest targets was Bay Area Representative Eric Swalwell. KPIX5's Andrea Borba live at the Chinese consulate in San Francisco to break it all down.
What was it about Fang Fang that you liked? Did she walk on your back? Did she walk 12 feet behind you? What was it that lured you into the Chinese spy's arms? And if you see her, Squirrel, they're not really arms. They're more like linguini. Ugh.
Worked. Andrea?
Well, this spy was allegedly a student who had close contacts with people here inside the Chinese consulate until she left the country about 5 years ago. This woman, Christine Fang, a Chinese national, was a student at Cal State East Bay and president of the Chinese Student Association. The FBI says...
Did they say student, Squirrel? President and student? Boy, I wonder if there's a connection.
Hi, Ted Nebraska here, running for Illinois governor. Right now, I'm in Champaign at the University of Illinois campus. And one of the big issues here is that there's 6,000 Chinese foreign nationals at the school when there used to be only 37 back in 2000.
How many of them are mad scientists that are carrying diseases and vials of diseases? Or are they all spies willing to sleep with our most repulsive politicians?
She was also a spy who was trying to cozy up to Bay Area politicians.
To ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election.
The mayor of Fremont volunteering for Ro Khanna's campaign, and even
Do they have a tape of Fang Fang reporting to her handlers in China? I want to know what that poor thing was complaining about. Ralph and Rantoul.
What he saw in her bamboo steamer, Shaun.
Hey, that's a great name for a social club, the Bamboo Steamer.
I know.
Go right
Bamboo
ahead.
Steamer. Yeah, it's my 8th grade Wang Chung band. Hey, look.
Is it going to have one of those neon open signs in the window? Come on in, I dare you.
All the time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, me love you long time, Shaun. Hey, look, my neighbor got kidnapped in Mexico.
she makes a annual trip down, and she's got a house down there, and she takes a bunch of stuff for the people in her village. And a couple years ago, she got kidnapped. They took everything. They took her Jeep, took her trailer, took everything in the trailer. They drove around in the desert at gunpoint with her at gunpoint, she and her cousin, for a couple hours. They kind of begged for their lives. They took her dog. She had a really big dog. She had one of those Cane Corsos. And they liked the dog, but guess what? The dog was too nice. So they weren't interested in the dog. And they just let the dog loose in the desert. They let them loose in the desert. They had nothing, no phones, no nothing. They were able, people found them, got the dog back eventually. And you know what, Shaun? She's never been quite the same since. She's got a little bit of a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah, that'll explain it. But you know, Ralph, this has been going on for decades. And you would think that this would be lead story on all the national news. We had a lady on, I'll never forget Honey Bunny. You remember they were going to retire in Mexico. And they bought a development. It was supposed to be great. And the cartels shot up their house. They left everything and came back. This has been going on for decades. And people are pretending this is a country. It's a cartel front. And the links to this Scheinbaum and to Obrador and all the way down to Vicente Fox, it makes Pablo Escobar look like an alderman or a congressman, which Pablo Escobar was in Colombia. Thank you, Ralph, very much for the call. Oh, I didn't mean to hang up on Ralph. I never mean to hang up on Ralph, but he inspired me with his name for his social club.
They are Captain Sum Ting Wong, Wee Tu Lo, Ho Li Fook, and Bang Ding Ao.
And now they're all students at UIC. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
Stay together, please.
Who are these people, Ben?
This is my tour group. Everyone, this is Nicole.
Why are you giving tours?
I was inspired by the Whitley dining room table.
Are you talking about the Whitley?
And this is Arvin. Yes, I was just explaining that the Whitley dining room table reminds me of something you'd see in a museum.
The exquisite solid wood.
The beautiful finish.
The unique design.
Absolutely stunning.
Exactly. So I put some velvet ropes around it and started giving tours to see it.
But anyone can come see the Whitley table at any time.
Shh. These people paid $29.95 to go on this tour. Okay, folks, let's keep it moving. Next stop, the break room.
The Whitley dining table, starting at just $86 a month with no interest till February of 2029 through February 16th at Penny Mustard.
6 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Attention investors, this affects you. Silver prices are exploding, with silver exceeding $100 a troy ounce for the first time. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get our free gold and silver investment guide. Plus, you'll also receive a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call now. Here's why it matters. Silver is a high liquidity, tangible, and affordable precious metal investment that serves as an industrial commodity and a store of value. It often outperforms gold during economic upturns. If you have an IRA or 401k, you can act now. Roll over a portion into a tax-advantaged gold and silver IRA backed by physical metals you actually own. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 and find out how you can get a tax and penalty-free rollover for a portion of your retirement funds for 2026. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
AM 560, The Answer.
So the government's going to shut down potentially again because of the SAVE Act, which would make it more difficult for Democrat mafia-controlled areas to steal elections the way they did in 2020.
Republicans moving ahead to fast-track some new election integrity measures. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace has filed an amendment to the Save America Act that will move voter ID and citizenship requirements up to the 2026 midterms. Mace says control of Congress is on the line and election security cannot wait until 2027. House Republicans are also pressing Senate Majority Leader John Thune to force a floor debate, so any senator against the measures will have to put it on the record. A Pew Research poll showed an overwhelming majority of Americans, 83%, supported proof of citizenship and
83%, which means 17% Democrats and profiteers of policy and Somalians don't want it. Makes sense. Here's another Democrat lawyer that doesn't want it.
Voter ID is something that a large majority of Americans support. Kentucky does require voters to show an ID for federal.
Oh no, this is Bashir, who's the Kentucky governor, who's a con artist.
And state elections. Where do you fall on the SAVE Act specifically?
Well, I consider myself pragmatic. You know, I think
he's a pragmatic with an accent that would make Hee Haw say, "Get off the set."
That we can agree that election security is an important thing. But when you create...
No. See, that's the con man. That's the con man. What you want is important. But what? Bashir, you scumbag.
Create policies that are so onerous. You push people out who have the right to vote, who should be able to register.
Is there a liquor store where someone said, this is too onerous for me to show you your ID. I'm just going to mooch the booze off of the next degenerate that buys it? Of course not.
We're joined now by David Becker. He is the executive director of the Center for Election Innovation and Research and a CBS News election law contributor. Always good to have you here, David.
Great to be back with you, Margaret.
I want to pick up on a few things that have come up in the program. Senator Warner voiced what some Democrats are concerned about, arguing that President Trump is laying the groundwork to undermine the upcoming election or interfere in it in some way. And in fact, during the program, the president is tweeting about American elections being rigged, stolen, and a laughingstock all around the world. What do you think?
Is that funny? Is that funny, stupid? Is that funny? Then you obviously haven't watched anything about the 2020 elections.
It was Trump's. I've never voted in a midterm. I've never voted.
What?
I have never voted in a midterm election. Ever.
All right.
I've never voted in a primary. Ever.
Tell us that again.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So what we see here is someone voted in your name for a midterm primary, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 presidential elections. You're saying you did not vote in.
I can tell you, and I'm a bad. I can tell you, I'm a bad patriot. First time I got involved in politics with President Trump. That's my first presidential election.
So when these pseudo-intellectual Democrat frauds who don't want to focus on the fact that everywhere they govern, from the smallest municipality to the biggest city, all failures. Every policy, save $2,500 on your insurance over a year. That was Obamacare. Every fracking policy, fraud. When they make fun of you for telling you there is no way 81 million morons did not know Joe Biden had dementia, did not know Joe Biden was a thief. They're laughing at you because they laugh at you when they steal your money and tell you that Democrat areas and Democrat policies are honest or efficient. They're wrong, but they're arrogant about it, aren't they? Lawyers, doctors, all on the take. $2 whores. It's all you'll ever be, whether your third wife is in a G-Wagon or not. We'll be back in 21.
At Terra Vista of Oak Brook Terrace, dementia care isn't just what we do, it's all we do.